Chapter 1165. After completing the soul-searching, Yunsheng did not dare to delay any longer. She used the hellfire of the divine lotus to reform Hu Jiuxing's remnant soul. After a day and a night, Hu Jiuxing's soul was finally completed. When the golden soul entered Hu Jiuxing's body, Yun Songhai and Yunsheng could not help but hold their breaths. After so many years, the father and daughter had been looking forward to a reunion as a family of three had finally passed. Hu Jiuxing, who was lying on the bed, moved her eyelids after a long time. She opened her eyes. The coldness in her eyes melted little by little. When she saw the slightly haggard father and daughter, Yunsheng and Yun Songhai, she was stunned for a moment. Hu Jiuxing. Yun Songhai saw his beloved wife and could not help but rush forward to hug her tightly. "Mother," Yunsheng also called out softly, feeling the familiar scent of the man and her daughter's gentle call. Hu Jiuxing's eyes immediately welled up with tears. She gave a soft cry and hugged the father and daughter tightly. "Oh, I'm so touched. Dearest master, the family is finally reunited. What should I do?" Baby also misses mother. Baby squatted by the side and made a loud sniffling sound. The family of three was reunited for the first time after being separated for so many years. For a moment, they had endless things to say to each other. When the sky turned dark, Yuan Shahua came to ask the three of them to go out for dinner. When Yunba saw Hu Jiuxing, he was a little embarrassed. However, thanks to Yunsheng's mediation, Hu Jiuxing called him father. Yunba went with the flow and acknowledged her as his daughter-in-law. For the reunion of Yunsheng's family, Yunba was overjoyed. He even asked people to arrange a wedding banquet for Yun Songhai and Hu Jiuxing. The entire Taiyuan Mountain and the nearby fishing villages also came to congratulate him. On the night of the wedding banquet, Yun Songhai was dead drunk. After Hu Jiuxing and Yunsheng helped Yun Songhai settle down, the mother and daughter had a chance to sit down and have a long talk. "Sheng, it's been hard on you all these years. I'm such an irresponsible mother. You've done so much for me and your father." Hu Jiuxing learned from other people that Yunsheng had been taking care of herself since she was young. Her daughter was so sensible that it made her heart ache. "Mother, we're all family. Why bother with these things? As long as you and father are reunited, Sheng can rest assured." Yunsheng paused for a moment and thought about it. In the end, she decided to tell her mother that she was going to the 8 Wastelands, as well as Yi Baiming. Yun Songhai had always had some opinions about Yi Baiming. If he knew that he had abandoned Yunsheng again this time, he would definitely be angry. In the future, he might not recognize Yi Baiming as his son-in-law. Hu Jiuxing couldn't help but smile when she saw her daughter's worried face. Although Hu Jiuxing was Yunsheng's mother, the two of them had been separated for so many years. The few times they had met each other were when their souls were incomplete. Therefore, Hu Jiuxing didn't know much about Yi Baiming, her son-in-law. In the past few days after her soul had been condensed, she had heard a lot about her daughter, Yunsheng, from the people around her. Everyone who talked about Yunsheng had the same evaluation of her. This child was young, but she was gifted. Even her thoughts and shrewdness were much stronger than ordinary people. If it wasn't for her intuition that blood was thicker than water, which made Hu Jiuxing deeply believe that Yunsheng was her daughter, Hu Jiuxing would also doubt whether she was her own daughter. It was only when Yi Baiming was involved that Yunsheng would reveal an angry expression like an ordinary woman. Her reaction made Hu Jiuxing heave a sigh of relief. Her daughter was still a normal person. "Sheng, you're much smarter than me. I believe that you can handle your own matters well. However, have you thought through the matter of going to the 8 Wastelands mainland?" Hu Jiuxing was still a little worried when she heard that Yunsheng was going to the 8 Wastelands mainland. Hu Jiuxing had never been to the 8 Wastelands mainland, but she had heard that the beast race in the 8 Wastelands mainland was different from the human race in the Boundless mainland. They were bloody and violent, and the human race's status in the 8 Wastelands mainland was like that of slaves. Although her daughter, Yunsheng, had extraordinary abilities and was a powerful summoner, she was still a girl after all. Before Hu Sheng died, I promised her that I would send her ashes over. Oh yes, Mother, Shunger still has a question for you. Do you have any siblings? The celestial fox people girl, Hu Sheng, looks exactly like me. I think that we are very likely related by blood. Yin Sheng had always had doubts about her relationship with Hu Sheng. In this world, how could there be two people who looked exactly the same? Yin Sheng also felt that Hu Sheng and her mother were very similar. I was born in a blood cloud in the Duqian blood realm. I don't have any memories of my parents. However, when I was still a blood cloud, I remember that I was originally a blood cloud with another blood cloud. However, later on, it split into two blood clouds. The blood clouds in the blood realm were erratic. Later on, I was blown to the boundless mainland, but the blood cloud's whereabouts were unknown. Hu Jiuxin recalled. The Duqian blood realm connected the boundless mainland and the eight wastelands mainland. Before the Duqian blood seal collapsed, countless new blood clouds would be born there every year. Most of these blood clouds would have a certain level of perception when they entered the second half of their lifespan. When Hu Jiuxing was still a blood cloud beast fetus, she felt a wave of energy that was very similar to hers. It had always been with her. However, later on, the baleful wind in the blood realm separated the two blood clouds. The blood cloud that Hu Jiuxing was in was blown to the side of the human village. As for the other blood cloud, it was very likely to be blown to the eight wastelands mainland. That Hu Sheng looks the same as you and is about the same age as you. Perhaps her mother is the blood cloud that was with me back then. In that case, it is also a kind of origin. Since you have promised her, then help her fulfill her promise. In the future, if you have the chance to meet Hu Sheng's mother, you can ask her. If she doesn't have a good life in the celestial fox tribe, then bring her to the boundless mainland. Hu Jiuxing pondered. The mother and daughter talked about a few more things before they left. 3 days later, Yun Sheng and Baby Sheep bade farewell to the people in the Taiyuan castle. Although Yun Songhai was a little reluctant, he could not dissuade his daughter's temper. He could only send Yun Sheng off under Hu Jiuxing's persuasion. Yun Sheng first made a trip to Zhou State. After confirming that there was no problem in Zhou State, she prepared to head to the eight wastelands mainland with Baby Sheep. Before heading to the eight wastelands mainland, Yun Sheng encountered a problem. As the four-sided Hellflood Dragon could not help to escort them, they had decided to use the Netherworld Ghost Key to head to the eight wastelands mainland. Chapter 1166. Only when Yun Sheng and Baby Sheep took out the Netherworld Ghost Key did they discover that they had another problem to solve. How to use the Netherworld Ghost Key. Yun Sheng obtained the Ghost Key from the Netherworld Ghost King, but the Netherworld Ghost King did not tell her how to use the Ghost Key. Dearest Master, I heard that the Netherworld Ghost Key can be used to teleport to a fixed location. Why don't Baby Sheep give it a try? Perhaps we can save a lot of time and directly reach the Celestial Fox tribe. Compared to going to the underworld, Baby Sheep was more willing to go to the Eight Desolates continent. To Baby Sheep, the underworld was the territory of that brat Ming Ri, while the Eight Desolate continent was the territory of the mortal world. In its own territory, it could absolutely run amok. Occasionally going to the Eight Desolates continent to inspect was not a bad idea. Yun Sheng thought that Baby Sheep was a world deity of the mortal world, so it should be more familiar with the various continents of the mortal world. Moreover, she could use this opportunity to let Baby Sheep grow faster and become a qualified world deity. Yun Sheng handed the Netherworld Ghost Key to Baby Sheep. After Baby Sheep received the Netherworld Ghost Key, it was thinking, Eight Desolates continent, quickly teleport us to the Eight Desolates continent of the mortal world. Unexpectedly, just as Baby Sheep had this thought, it poured its divine sense into the Netherworld Ghost Key. The Ghost Key emitted a black light. Only then did Yun Sheng know that using the Netherworld Ghost Key was very simple. It only needed to be controlled by divine sense. The moment Baby Sheep activated the Netherworld Ghost Key, Yun Sheng suddenly remembered something. Baby Sheep was a magical beast that had no sense of direction at all. When the black light appeared, a black hole suddenly appeared under the feet of Yun Sheng and Baby Sheep. Before the woman and the beast could react, they felt that they stepped on air and fell into an endless abyss. The figures of the woman and the beast immediately disappeared. Yunsheng only knew that the feeling of using the Netherworld Ghost Key and riding the Netherworld Flood Dragon to pass through the barrier were completely different. Yunsheng and Baby Sheep only felt that their bodies were being pulled by countless hands. Their abdomens were overturned, and they felt dizzy as if they were on a roller coaster. After an unknown amount of time, Yunsheng stepped on the ground, and Yunsheng sat on Papaya's body. "We're here, dear master. We've arrived at the 8 Wastelands," the sheep said happily. "We're finally here. Is this the 8 Wastelands?" Yunsheng looked around and saw a vast plain. It was so wide. Seeing the situation in front of him, Bobo stopped shouting. The 8 Wastelands continent seemed to be much larger than the Boundless continent. The terrain was also much more complicated. This place was like an undeveloped wasteland, with rocks and steep mountains everywhere. This was the first impression that Yunsheng and Baby Sheep had when they saw Ba Huang mainland. "Dear master, there seems to be a lot of magical beasts around here." Baby Sheep became nervous and hurriedly landed on his master's shoulder. Yunsheng also noticed that there were many magical beasts around, and these magical beasts' auras were much stronger than those in the Boundless continent. It was indeed the 8 Wastelands continent, the headquarters of the magical beasts. Those magical beasts also felt that there were 2 unfamiliar auras suddenly appearing on the plain. Some of the demonic beasts were still getting restless and were moving closer. "King of evil spirits, drive away all the magical beasts within a 1-mile radius. If there are any disobedience, kill them." Yunsheng summoned the king of evil spirits. The gloomy and cold demonic aura caused the magical beasts to flee in all directions in fright. Soon, the surroundings quieted down. "This is the 8 Wastelands continent, but didn't you say that we would go directly to the Celestial Fox tribe?" Yunsheng found it funny. There was not even a trace of Bakar orcs around here, let alone the Celestial Fox tribe. Just now, the king of evil spirits had only driven away some ordinary magical beasts, and the strongest was only at the sage level. "Dear master, Baby Sheep has never been to the Celestial Fox tribe." Baby Sheep put on a pitiful look. "Let's hurry on. After we find them, we will think of a way to find out how to get to the Celestial Fox tribe." Yunsheng rubbed her eyebrows and comforted herself. Fortunately, they had arrived at the 8 Wastelands continent and had not been sent to some random continent. This was already a blessing in disguise. Although they had not found the specific location of the Celestial Fox tribe, Yunsheng remembered that her face was exactly the same as that of the Celestial Fox Saintess, Husheng. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Yunsheng decided to disguise herself first. Yunsheng used the disguise spell to change her appearance. Soon, she became a human girl with a sallow complexion. As for Baby Sheep, it was lying on her shoulder. A human and a sheep walked on the vast plains. Even with Yunsheng's speed, she still had to walk for a day and a night with Baby Sheep before they saw a small town in front of them. It was a very ordinary border town, and it was also the only place within a few hundred miles that was inhabited. The town was not big, and it was very similar to some border towns in Zhou State. Yunsheng walked to the town gate and saw a few soldiers guarding the town gate. This was the first time that Yunsheng had seen humans since she arrived at the 8 Wastelands continent. To be exact, she saw half-orcs. Some of the soldiers guarding the town gate were warriors, while others were sorcerers. Looking at their cultivation, they were around the scepter sorcerers and martial arts grandmasters. Compared to the ordinary soldiers of the Boundless Land, they were much stronger. It seemed that the people of the 8 Wastelands continent were indeed much stronger than humans in terms of cultivation. If these people really rushed into the Boundless Land like a swarm of bees, who knew what kind of riot it would cause? Yunsheng looked at the attire of those few bee soldiers and saw that they were half human and half orc. Looking at the people entering and leaving the town, she saw that they were all oddly shaped. They had long tails or ears behind them. Some had claws on their hands and feet, and some even had a pair of wings on their backs. At a glance, Yunsheng was the only one who looked normal. If not for the fact that Yunsheng already knew that she was in the 8 Wasteland continent, she would have really thought that she had entered zoo. Bobo, looking at the appearance of those people, They should be mixed breeds of humans and beasts. It's just that I don't know which beast territory this is. I hope that this place is not too far away from the Celestial Fox Tribe's headquarters, Yinsheng muttered to Bobo. Coincidentally, at this moment, a half-orc walked past Yinsheng. Excuse me, which tribe's territory is this? Yinsheng walked forward and stopped that half-orc whose upper body was human and lower body was horse. Go away, dirty human. This is the Tsangdu Crescent Spring Town, a vassal state of the Celestial Fox Tribe. This is not a place where you can stay. Scram back to your slums. Unexpectedly, that half-orc saw Yunsheng's appearance and scolded her fiercely. Chapter 11:67. The half-beast man cursed, his face full of disdain, but he suddenly caught a glimpse of Yunsheng's gaze. The human's gaze was cold. Just one look, and he felt his entire body tremble. What a terrifying human. The half-beast man's curses were stuck in his throat. He shuddered and hurriedly fled. Dear master, why didn't you teach him a lesson? Seeing that half-beast man flee, Popping Sheep stuck out his tongue at his back. What a joke. Master could freeze him to death with just one look. Why bother with these people? At least he let us know that we are already near the Celestial Fox Tribe. Although we don't know how far away the Celestial Fox Tribe is from Tsangdu Crescent Springtown, at least it shouldn't be too far. Popping, you've improved. Yinsheng smiled. She had long guessed that in the 8 Wastelands continent, the status of humans and beasts would be unequal, so she wasn't surprised. One human and one beast walked in the barren plains for a few days. They were already hungry and prepared to enter the town to rest. At the same time, they would also go to the town to inquire about the location of the Celestial Fox Tribe's headquarters. Just as they reached the town gate, those half-beast soldiers stopped Yunsheng with fiendish expressions. Scram, where did this reckless human come from? Didn't you see the announcement? How can you enter the town? Announcement? Yunsheng was puzzled, but she had just arrived, and it wasn't good for her to get into a conflict with these half-beast men. She walked to the side and saw that there was indeed an announcement posted on the city wall at the town gate. There was a very eye-catching announcement written on the announcement board. Tsangdu Crescent Springtown, humans and beasts are not allowed to enter. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy. That was the announcement made by the mayor of Crescent Springtown. Other than Crescent Springtown, almost all the cities in the 8 Wastelands continent had a similar announcement. Dear Master, the 8 Wastelands continent is the headquarters of the Bakra Orcs. The humans here are all natives of the continent, and their strength is weak. After the Bakra Orcs fled here, they must have carried out a massacre. The human race has been reduced to a lower class, and the half-blood beastmen have a higher status than the human race. The purebred beastmen are the most honorable. Baby Sheep also saw the announcement and explained to Yunsheng. Why didn't you tell me earlier about such an important matter? If you had told me earlier, I would have dressed up as a half-blood half-orc. At least I would have snuck into the town and asked about the location of the Celestial Fox Tribe. Yunsheng said grumpily. This time, Yunsheng did not come to the Bahuang continent to cause trouble. She just wanted to find the Celestial Fox Tribe as soon as possible, find Hu Sheng's family, hand over her ashes, and then find the Night Fox. The less trouble he could cause, the better. However, things did not go as he wished. Yunsheng did not know that from the moment she agreed to Hu Sheng's last wish and arrived at the 8 Wastelands continent, her fate had already been linked with the Celestial Fox Tribe. Dear Master, don't you realize that you are different from those half-blood beastmen? You don't have fox ears or a foxtail. Not only the Celestial Fox people, but the other half-blood Bakra Orcs also maintained a certain level of beastman characteristics. Baby Sheep's expression said, don't even think about it. For example, the half-blood beastmen of the Kirin tribe mostly had rough scales. The half-blood beastmen of the 9 Phoenix tribe mostly had a pair of large wings. The half-blood beastmen of the Beaming tribe were mostly more than 2 meters tall. In short, the possibility of Yunsheng pretending to be a Celestial Fox half-blood beastman was very low. Wait, Baby Sheep, then why did Hu Sheng and Hu Linglong look like humans when I saw them earlier? Yunsheng remembered that the members of the Celestial Fox people that she had seen in the Dutian blood world were also in human form. Master, those are the purebred celestial fox people. Or rather, they're the nobles of the celestial fox people. They had been baptized by the beast god Alter when they were very young, so they look like humans, Baby Sheep explained. Since that's the case, then I'll pretend to be a purebred celestial fox. Let's see who dares to stop me, Yinsheng thought. She turned around and swaggered towards the town gate. Actually, Baby Sheep's words were only correct about a part of the situation in the 8 Wastelands continent. What he said was that the purebred beastmen had the highest status. But the status of humans in the 8 Wastelands continent could not be described as low status. To be exact, humans had no status in the 8 Wastelands continent. Or rather, humans were as cheap as dogs. Their lives were like the most lowly ants. They could be freely plundered, bought, and sold. As long as they offended the beastmen or half-blood beastmen, they would be killed. In a place like the Crescent Springtown, the death of a human every few days was as simple as eating a meal for these half-blood beastmen guards. So when they saw that Yunsheng was just a human, their first reaction was to kill this unreasonable human. Those few guards had never seen such a fearless human. Are you looking for death, lowly human? Those few half-blood beastmen guards saw that it was Yunsheng again. Anger rose from their hearts, and they shouted angrily. The few half-blood beastmen guards did not allow any explanation and pulled out the swords on their waists. At the side, those half-blood beastmen who were passing by all saw this scene, and they all started whispering. Where did this reckless human come from? She actually dares to offend the guards. Isn't that so? Look at her shabby outfit. She must be a country bumpkin who just came out of the slums. Kill her and let her know the power of us half-blood beastmen. Different from the humans of the boundless land, these half-blood beastmen, who had a portion of orc blood, were born with the blood of wild beasts surging in their blood. When they saw the scene of a human being killed, they all watched by the side, just as all the half-blood beastmen thought that the human was going to be killed on the spot. There was a flash of sword light, but the moment the guards waved their swords seemed to be stuck in a quagmire and could not be pulled out no matter how hard they tried. Those guards lowered their heads to take a look. It was fine if they did not look, but with this look, those guards were all so frightened that a chill ran down their spines. The half-blood beastmen guards realized that their swords were motionless and were tightly entangled. And what entangled their weapons was something that looked like hair. The human who looked like a person who had died of tuberculosis earlier on suddenly had long hair that was like a steel wire that entangled the swords of those guards. Her face was still waxy yellow, and she appeared to be lacking in strength. However, her eyes were shooting out sharp light. She was like the king of 100 beasts, filled with arrogance and killing intent, causing people to shrink back at the sight of her. No matter how hard those guards tried to pull, their weapons did not move at all. Celestial Fox's first inheritance, Celestial Fox Entanglement. Yinsheng spat out a few words. Celestial Fox's inheritance. These few words landed in the ears of those few half-blood beastmen guards like a bolt of lightning on a clear day. The nearby onlookers who were more timid directly knelt on the ground in fright. Chapter 1168. Celestial Fox Inheritance. Yes, sir, you're a purebred Celestial Fox. The orc guards were so scared that their faces turned pale. Possessing the Celestial Fox Inheritance, and having an aura comparable to a Beast King, she could only be a purebred Celestial Fox. Although the Tsangdu Crescent Springtown was a vassal state of the Celestial Fox tribe, it didn't belong to the core province of the Celestial Fox tribe. Even the mayor here was only a mixed-blood Celestial Fox. This seemingly unremarkable, sir, was actually a purebred Celestial Fox. They actually had eyes, but failed to see and offended a Celestial Fox, sir. Yinsheng didn't know that the Bakra orcs had always valued bloodlines. Therefore, even though they had already occupied the 8 Wastelands for many years, there weren't many purebred orcs and orcs who truly possessed the bloodline of the 8 Wastelands. These guards had previously seen that Yunsheng's appearance was ordinary and her strength wasn't much. Most importantly, the Crescent Spring town was a very remote town. Those noble young masters and young ladies of the Celestial Fox tribe wouldn't normally appear here. Sir, please let us off. We have eyes but failed to see." Those guards were so scared that they threw down their weapons and knelt down to beg for mercy. "Hurry up and get out of the way. I have important matters to attend to in town. If you delay my matters, you will end up like these sabers." Yin Sheng snorted twice. Her hair instantly exerted force, twisting the sabers into a few lumps of scrap metal and throwing them to the ground. When those orc guards saw this, they didn't dare to question Yin Sheng's identity. They hurriedly nodded and bowed, apologizing as they watched Yin Sheng enter the town. After Yin Sheng entered the town, those orc guards who were scared half to death regained their senses. "Ah, Lady Celestial Fox has graced us with her presence. This matter must be reported to the mayor." Comparing the identity of a purebred celestial fox to a demi-human celestial fox, that was the difference between cloud and mud. When these guards thought of this, they hurriedly went to report to the mayor of Crescent Moon Springtown. In a luxurious official residence in the easternmost part of Crescent Moon Springtown, there was music and dancing inside. Half-beastmen and women in revealing clothes were dancing gracefully. A half-orc in luxurious clothes was leaning lazily on a luxurious couch. In his arms was a slender, cat-human woman. The half-beast man looked to be in his 30s. He had a pair of fiery red fox ears on top of his head and a bunch of furry fox tails behind him. He was a celestial fox half-beast man. Although this person was a beast man, his body shape was different from an ordinary celestial fox. Most of the people of the celestial fox people were tall and slender. The celestial fox in front of them had an imposing body. On his forehead, there was also a king-shaped tiger stripe. He was the mayor of Crescent Moon Springtown, Fox Ishue. Speaking of Fox Ishue, this person could be considered to have a bit of fame in the Tsangdu generation. Apart from being the mayor of Crescent Moon Springtown, it was also because he was a very rare shaman beastmaster among the half-beastmen. The so-called shaman beastmaster was another name for summoners among the beastmen of the 8 Desolates continent. Fox Ishue's father was a purebred celestial fox. His mother was a woman of the lightning tiger tribe. Therefore, Fox Ishue was a fox-tiger beastman. His strength was also a bit stronger than ordinary celestial fox half-beastmen. Relying on his father's connections, Fox Ishue was dispatched to Crescent Moon Springtown and became the mayor here. Although Crescent Moon Springtown was located in a remote area, there was also an advantage. That was, the heavens were high and the emperor was far away. It was rare to see any purebred celestial fox. Thus, Fox Ishue became the local tyrant of this area. What beauties, what gold, silver, jewelry, and divine weapons, all of them were in Fox Ishue's hands. Fox Ishue's influence also firmly controlled all of the profitable businesses in Crescent Moon Springtown. Recently, Fox Ishue had just taken in this enchanting cat tribe, half-beastman woman, in his arms. She spent her days in the beauty's village and did not step out of the manor. He also did not know what happened outside. "Mayor, it's not good." Someone from the tribe came. Until a guard staggered in, his face full of fear. "Who came?" Hearing this, Fox Ishue's eyes narrowed. "Mayor, just now, a Lady Celestial Fox came to the town entrance. She just entered the town, and we don't know where she went now." The half-beastman guard recounted the matter of Lady Celestial Fox and the guards having a conflict just now. Nonsense, if Lady Celestial Fox came. How could there be no prior notice? That must be a fake. After all, Fox Ishue had stayed in the Celestial Fox tribe before and had some understanding of the temperament of the Celestial Fox. Although Celestial Fox belonged to the lower beast tribe in the Bakar Orcs, but in the Celestial Fox tribe country, those purebred Celestial Fox people were incomparably arrogant. Not to mention that they were not willing to come to such a remote place like Crescent Moon Springtown. Even if they came, if they were offended by the guards, the other party would definitely kill these guards directly. How could they possibly be allowed to live until now? In summary, that so-called Lady Celestial Fox must be a fake. Only these blind guards would be deceived. If the real Celestial Fox came, she would definitely announce it with great fanfare, and Fox Ishue would definitely go out to welcome her. But that Lady Celestial Fox, she knows the Celestial Fox inheritance. This subordinate and the townspeople all saw it. That guard did not give up and handed a broken knife to Fox Ishue. Celestial Fox Entanglement? He had heard of Celestial Fox Entanglement before. This was the real Celestial Fox inheritance. Hearing this, Fox Ishue pushed the cat girl in his hand to the side, took the knife, and looked at it carefully. This knife had already been twisted into a pile of scrap metal. Looking at its shape, it was not formed by ordinary magic power or do chi. Moreover, even among the purebred Celestial Fox, not everyone could have the Celestial Fox inheritance. Heaven knows, among the purebred Celestial Fox inheritance, only 1 in 10 could have it. Only among the purebred Celestial Fox, the talented Celestial Fox nobles, will be sent to the beast god altar to receive baptism and awaken the inheritance. Any purebred Celestial Fox that had awakened the Celestial Fox inheritance would be the core nobles of the Celestial Fox tribe. Fox Ishue stared at that knife, and his heart was filled with doubts. Could it be that the other party was really a purebred Celestial Fox? But why would a purebred Celestial Fox suddenly come to the Crescent Moon Spring Town? Could it be that someone in the Celestial Fox tribe had started to suspect him? Let's not talk about whether the other party's identity is real or fake. In these few days, send people to closely monitor that girl's every move. Fox Ishue weighed the pros and cons and decided to first send people to the Celestial Fox tribe to inquire. After confirming the other party's identity, he would then confirm the other party's purpose in coming to the Crescent Moon Spring Town. If there was even the slightest indication that the girl was related to his plan, even if the other party was a Celestial Fox, he would still kill her. After Fox Ishue gave the order, the residents immediately sent out a few skilled spies into the town to search for Yunsheng's whereabouts. Chapter 1169. After the conflict at the entrance of the town, Yunsheng and Baby Sheep entered the town, and things went much smoother. Perhaps they knew that the people who entered the town were not ordinary people, so the half-beast people did not make things difficult for Yunsheng. Yunsheng found a place and filled her stomach with Baby Sheep. Although the 8 Wastelands continent was different from the Boundless continent, but in terms of food, there was not much difference. Yunsheng also took the opportunity to inquire about the situation of the 8 Wastelands continent. With this inquiry, she had a rough understanding of the 8 Wastelands continent. The 8 Wastelands continent was originally not called by its current name, but after the Bakra orcs invaded and occupied the entire continent, it changed its name to 8 Wastelands. The continent's territory was vast, and in terms of area, it was about 2 to 3 times the size of the Boundless continent. It was mainly inhabited by the human race, half-beast people, Bakra orcs, and other races. Among them, the human race was the largest, and they were the natives of the continent. But because of their strength, their status was very low. Other than a small number of free people, most of the human race were kept as slaves by the half-beast people or beastmen. Their status was even lower than magical beasts. The free human race did not even have the right to live in the town, and could only live in the outskirts of the town, a place called the slums. The second most populous race was the half-beast people. The half-beast people's status was slightly higher than the human race. Most of them were free people, and some of them had the bloodline of the 8 Wastelands continent. They could even hold a certain official position in the few big tribal countries. For example, the mayor of the Crescent Spring Town was a Celestial Fox half-beast person. He had been a mayor for more than 10 years. Among these races, the 8 big tribes and the beast god altar were the most powerful. When the Bakra orcs invaded the 8 Wastelands continent, the entire continent was divided into 9 parts. 8 of the parts belonged to the 8 Wastelands continent and were called the 8 big tribal countries. The last part, which was the most central part of the 8 Wastelands continent, was controlled by the beast god altar. The chief of each tribe was the first priest of the beast receiving altar, and he was like the emperor of his own territory. The town where Yunsheng and Baby Sheep are now and was the northernmost territory of the Celestial Fox tribe. It was called Crescent Spring Town. Except for a crescent well, this town had no other resources. It was a typical poor town. Most of the small towns under the Celestial Fox tribe were similar to Crescent Moon Spring Town. This was because the celestial fox tribe had failed many times in the past few hundred years, so their territory had been shrinking. Moreover, most of the territories given to the celestial fox tribe were very remote and desolate. Only a few cities were relatively rich and fertile. From the crescent moon spring to Hoodoo, where the celestial fox tribe was located, it would take about a month's journey. However, to enter Hoodoo, one had to possess a special token. Otherwise, one would not be allowed to enter. Yin Sheng could deceive those guards who did not have good eyesight, but she did not have the confidence to deceive those celestial fox nobles. She thought for a while and decided not to rush to Hoodoo. She decided to stay in Crescent Moon Springtown for a few days and see if she could find other ways to enter Hoodoo. Yin Sheng also noticed that these few days, there were always a few pairs of sneaky eyes staring at her from the dark. Yin Sheng also guessed that those people must have been sent by the Celestial Fox half-beast human town's mayor. However, since she did not want to cause trouble, she also did not have the heart to compete with those people. She simply minded her own business. For 3 consecutive days, Yin Sheng only leisurely came and went in the town without doing anything. This way, Hu Ishue was even more puzzled. He was even more confused about Yin Sheng's purpose in coming to the town. About 3 days later, Yin Sheng saw that she had gathered enough information and was preparing to leave Crescent Moon Springtown. At this moment, something happened that disrupted her original plan. Early in the morning, Yin Sheng looked forward to strolling around the town, as usual. Behind her, there was the sound of carriages and horses. A few strong and sturdy horses rushed over from the town entrance. The carriages were filled with all kinds of fresh herbs. That was the medicine carriage of the half-beast human town's medical hall. It was specially responsible for purchasing some herbs from outside the town. No matter if it was in the 8 Wastelands continent or the Boundless continent, the status of a doctor was equally respected. However, in the 8 Wastelands continent, the beastmen and half-beast human doctors did not use light magic for treatment. They used a kind of medical method called witchcraft. When the carriage passed by Yin Sheng's eyes flashed. She saw that there was a small hand grabbing onto the shaft of the carriage. "Dear master, someone is hiding under the carriage." Baby sheep also smelled the scent of the human race. Presumably, the guards at the town entrance did not allow humans to enter. Someone hid under the medicine carriage and snuck in. If this person snuck in and was discovered by the half-beastmen in the town, he would definitely be beaten half to death. There's no need to be nosy. We're almost there. It's time to leave this place. Yin Sheng only took a glance and was prepared to not meddle in other people's business. At this moment, the medicine carriage stopped. A half-beast human alighted and entered the medical hall. Under the carriage, a girl climbed out. The girl looked to be only 6 or 7 years old. She was short and her clothes were ragged. Her hair was tied into a braid messily. One look and one could tell that she was from a poor family. After the girl alighted from the medicine carriage, she bent over and found a few herbs in the medicine carriage. Looking at her appearance, it was obvious that she was here to steal herbs. Yin Sheng looked at the few herbs she chose. She originally planned to leave, but could not help but stop in her tracks. At this moment, a half-beast human doctor and a few people in the medical hall walked out of the medical hall. They saw that the girl was stealing herbs at a glance. "Thief, come and catch the thief. How dare she hide under the carriage and sneak into the town? Catch her." When the beastman doctor saw this, he was instantly enraged. Without another word, he ordered his men to capture the girl. It was obvious that it was the girl's first time being a thief. After being discovered, she was completely scared silly. The passers-by surrounded the human child and punched and kicked her. "Doctor, I'm not a thief. I just want to borrow some herbs to save my mother." The human girl protected the vital parts of her body with both hands and kept shouting. However, she was just a child who did not know martial arts or magic. How could she resist the strength of these half-beastmen? Humans were not allowed to enter the medical hall or the town, let alone steal things. The girl's family members were sick and could not enter the town to seek medical treatment. She could only take the risk of hiding under the carriage to steal herbs. "Stop hitting. Let me take a look." The half-beast human doctor in the medical hall was annoyed. He walked forward and looked at the girl. Although her clothes were ragged, her facial features were very delicate and pretty. When she grew up, she would definitely be a beautiful female slave. TSK, you're not bad looking. It would be a pity to kill you. I'll throw you to the slave market and sell you for some money to repay you for the herbs you stole, the half-beast human doctor said maliciously. Chapter 1170. Sell her as a slave? The human girl, who was originally beaten black and blue, trembled in fear when she heard this. Although she was born poor, she was still a free person. If she became a slave, it would be equivalent to becoming a slave of a half-orc or a half-orc. Her life would be worse than death. No, I beg you, don't sell me. My mother is very ill. If I can't go back, she will die. The little girl somehow got the strength to break free from the hands of those half-orcs. Then, she fiercely dashed into the crowd. However, she was too young and was beaten black and blue just now. After running a few steps, her legs went soft and she fell. Unexpectedly, she didn't fall to the ground. Instead, she fell into someone's arms. That person did not have the stench of blood of half-orcs. Instead, there was a faint fragrance on him. This is not up to you to decide. Who asked you to be a thief? That half-orc doctor was in a bad mood. He saw that the human girl fell into the arms of a bystander and went forward to catch her. Please, don't hand me over. I don't want to be a slave. The little girl seemed to be grabbing onto her last life-saving straw and refused to let go. Don't worry, I won't hand you over. A very pleasant voice floated over her head. The little girl raised her head with tears in her eyes. She saw a smiling face. It was the face of a human woman. How dare you meddle in the business of the medical center? Do you know that I am sworn brothers with the mayor? Quickly hand over the thief in your arms. What are these guards for? They actually let a human in so casually. That half-orc doctor saw that the other party was also a human, and his eyes were full of disdain. If I'm not blind, the little girl did not steal anything from you. Why did you sell her to pay off your debt? Yun Sheng glared at that half-orc doctor. Yun Sheng sighed in her heart. She was really unlucky. She even choked while drinking water. She didn't want to meddle in other people's business, but she had already bumped into them. She couldn't bear to see such a sensible little girl being sold as a slave. She hugged the girl in her arms a little tighter. Listening to the girl's words, Yun Sheng recalled her situation when she was 6 or 7 years old. Back then, she had no one to rely on in Banana Leaf Village. She and her father depended on each other for survival. However, compared to this pitiful human girl, she was luckier. At the very least, most of the villagers and village chief of Banana Leaf Village took good care of her. There was no discrimination against humans in the Boundless Continent. Then I'll sell you too. Men, tie up these 2 women and send them to the slave market. The orc doctor was even more fearless because he had some connections with the town's mayor, Foxy Shue. Behind him, a few ferocious-looking beastmen rushed up. Sai, you asked for it. Little girl, close your eyes. Yun Sheng sighed softly. Her voice seemed to have an invisible magic power. The little girl, who was already trembling in fear, subconsciously closed her eyes. The little girl only felt a gust of wind whistling in her ears, and she felt as if her entire body was flying. Following that, there were waves of tragic cries. The Beastman doctor was also dumbfounded. What did he see? The frail-looking human girl suddenly disappeared. Soon, she appeared in front of people again. However, tragic cries were incessant. Those orcs who tried to capture Yun Sheng and the human girl only saw a flash of blood in front of their eyes. Almost at the same time, their arms were in intense pain. When they came back to their senses, their arms had already been chopped off and the severed arms rolled on the ground. That scene was both terrifying and bloody. Hearing those tragic cries, the girl in Yun Sheng's arms could not help but shiver. The orcs who were still besieging the human girl all quieted down. They stared at Yun Sheng with fear in their eyes. That woman was already standing on the spot. If not for the severed arms on the ground, everyone would have thought that she had not moved at all. Are you a celestial fox or a human? The orc doctor was also shocked. He pointed at Yun Sheng as if he had seen a ghost. Judging from her appearance, this woman was clearly a human. However, her skills were so terrifying. This kind of energy fluctuation could only be seen on the bodies of very powerful, purebred heavenly foxes. She could enter and leave the town freely and had such powerful skills. However, judging from her appearance and smell, she was definitely a human. Seeing that you're a healer, I'll leave your hands behind first. Yunsheng carried the little girl and floated away without even looking at the orc doctor. Wait and see. How dare you hurt the people of the medical center? See how I will deal with you. The orc doctor sneered. There was a special kind of herb among the herbs that the girl had stolen. The smell of that herb would not dissipate for 7 days and 7 nights. As long as they followed the smell, they would definitely be able to find the woman who had hurt them. The orc doctor immediately rushed to the mayor's residence to seek help from Hu Yixue. What? You were saying that a human girl hurt the people of the medical center? Hu Yixue had been sending people to keep a close watch on Yunsheng these few days. However, Yunsheng was very cautious in her words and actions. Hu Yixue's secret guards did not manage to find out any information and could not tell whether Yunsheng was a purebred celestial fox or a human. Thus, this matter had been dragged on. Unexpectedly, that woman actually fought with the people of the medical center today. Everyone in Crescent Spring Town knew that the orc doctor of the medical center and Hu Yixue were sworn brothers. No one dared to provoke the medical center. So Big Brother also knows this woman. That woman is clearly a human. She does not have the smell of a purebred celestial fox on her. The orc doctor insisted. Oh, you're sure? Hu Yixue was still doubtful. If she was really a human, how could she injure several orc warriors at once? Big Brother, do you still not believe me? My nose is famous for being very sensitive. Even if my eyes are blindfolded, I can still identify a person's race just by smelling it. Moreover, I found that the smell of that woman was very unfamiliar. Perhaps she is not from the 8 Wastelands. The orc doctor was afraid that Hu Yixue would not believe him and added another sentence. If she was not from the 8 Wastelands, could she be from the Boundless Land? It was said that the experts from the Boundless Land were purebred orcs whose strength was comparable to the Bakr orcs. If the other party was really a human spy from the Boundless Land, then wouldn't he have made a great contribution by capturing her? No matter what, it is a death sentence for daring to injure orcs in Crescent Spring Town. Go and investigate the background of that human girl. I want to catch all those lowly humans in one fell swoop. Hu Yixue's eyes flashed with a fierce light and were filled with bloodthirsty, murderous intent. Chapter 1171. After Yunsheng took the little girl away, in order to create more trouble, she simply brought her away from the Crescent Spring Town. Standing on the official road at the entrance of the town, Yunsheng did not recognize the road. She had heard that outside the Crescent Spring Town, there was a slum where humans lived, but she did not know where exactly it was. Helpless, Yunsheng could only put down the little girl in her arms and asked, not knowing whether that child was beaten silly or seeing how vicious Yunsheng was, she was apprehensive of her identity. But for a moment, she actually did not dare to open her mouth to speak. This child, why is she like a tight-lipped gourd? Our master saved you. You should at least say a word of thanks. Until the popping sheep on Yunsheng's shoulder could not stand it anymore. It flapped its wings and landed in front of the child, scolding her. Perhaps it was the first time seeing such an adorable magical beast. The child, who was originally so scared that she did not dare to move, finally reacted. She even wanted to stretch out her hand, wanting to touch the popping sheep. Just as the popping sheep was about to explode, Yunsheng at the side shook her head at it. My dear master has a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. I already said that I will not meddle in other people's business. The popping sheep could only pretend to be docile and let the human girl touch it a few times. The little girl's eyes sparkled. What a cute sheep. This powerful master must be an incomparably honorable celestial fox. Only the honorable celestial fox could raise such a cute magical beast. The little girl secretly sized up Yunsheng, seeing that the other party was smiling and looking at her very amiably. You are a sheep? Hearing that, the popping sheep's hair stood on end. Its wings mercilessly hit the back of the little girl's hand. You are a sheep. Your whole family are sheep. You are not allowed to touch this world god. Only my dear master can touch this world god. I'm a human. My whole family is also human. That's why we can't enter the town. That's why my mother's illness is getting worse. The child did not expect baby sheep to suddenly turn hostile and was shocked. She would rather be a cute magic pet like the kissing sheep, so that when she got sick, there would be someone to treat her. Hey, don't mess around. Little miss, we don't mean any harm. Just now, you said that someone in your family is sick. I remember that the medicine you picked out is for tuberculosis patients. Can you tell me where she is now? I'm a doctor. I should be able to help you, Yinsheng said angrily and rolled her eyes at Bobo. This fellow clearly looked like a sheep, but it didn't allow people to call us sheep. How old was this little girl? How would she know what a world deity was? Just now, when Yinsheng saw the little girl stealing medicine, the medicine she took were all for tuberculosis. Thinking about it, her family must have contracted tuberculosis. Doctor, how did you know that my mother contracted tuberculosis? She's in a house not far away. You must save her. When she heard that Yunsheng was a doctor, the little girl quickly knelt in front of Yunsheng and kept begging. Yunsheng immediately agreed to the child and walked forward with her. Perhaps knowing that her mother could be saved, the little girl became a lot more cheerful along the way. She also told Yunsheng and baby sheep that her name was Yingying and that she was 8 years old this year. Under Yingying's lead, little Yunsheng walked for a long distance. A short and old house appeared in front of them. A few children were playing there. Presumably, this was the slum of the human clan in the 8 wastelands. The scale of the slum was not small. It was half the size of Crescent Springtown. However, the living conditions in houses here were much worse than those in the small town. There were no walls to protect against the attacks of wild beasts. There were only some crudely broken fences. The houses and wells were also very old. One look, and one could tell that the sanitary conditions were very poor. If tuberculosis occurred in this place, the entire village would be in danger. Yunsheng frowned. She couldn't help but feel indignant about the poor living conditions of the human clan in the 8 wastelands. Just as the two of them approached the slum, a few humans noticed them. Sick ghost, tuberculosis ghost, get lost. When a few of the children saw the little girl, they spat at her and threw stones at her. They kept scolding her. Bobo, these bad children are too much. Baby sheep couldn't stand it anymore. It fluttered its wings and flew up, wanting to teach those detestable children a lesson. It was too sad. These children's pranks reminded her of her early years in the realm of the gods. She was also bullied by others. It's okay. After my mother fell ill, the people in the slum didn't let us live there anymore. Facing these insults, the little girl seemed to be used to it. She didn't say a word. She just lowered her head and continued walking. After going around the slum, they walked for about 10 miles until the sky was almost dark. Under the dusky light of the setting sun, a tile kiln that had been abandoned for many years appeared in front of them. The tile kiln was located beside a muddy stream. This tile kiln was the home of the little girl and her mother. You all live here. How can people live here? Yunsheng frowned. The living conditions of the human clan in the 8 wastelands were already bad enough. The conditions of the tile kiln that the little girl and her mother lived in were even worse. Even a dog kennel was better than this. If a magical beast attacked nearby, this place would be the first to bear the brunt of the attack. Inging, cough, cough, you're back. Mother told you. A coughing sound came from the dilapidated tile kiln, interrupting Yunsheng's thoughts. The tile kiln was very short. She was used to it and squeezed in like a little mouse. Yunsheng had no choice but to crouch down and carry baby sheep in. The light was very dim. A woman in ragged clothes, who was already so thin that she didn't look like a human, was lying on the bed. Ying, Mother said many times that you can't go to town anymore. Those beastmen will beat you to death, the woman said weakly. The woman's daughter, Ying, would often sneak into the town. Because the town didn't allow humans to come and go, the doctors in the medical hall wouldn't treat humans. Therefore, Ying could only sneak into the town's medical hall to steal some medicinal herbs. But in 10 times, she would be caught 7 or 8 times and beaten half to death. This time, if Yunsheng hadn't happened to pass by, this child would probably have been beaten to death. Mother, I invited a doctor over. She's very powerful. Those beastmen in town were all beaten away by her. Ying said cheerfully. What? Ying, Mother doesn't want to see an illness. When the woman heard this, she was shocked and struggled to sit up. Only then did she see that her daughter didn't come back alone this time. After seeing that Yunsheng was a human, the woman's face turned ashen. Miss, please leave quickly. We, mother and daughter, have no power or influence. If we offend the town's healers, only death awaits us. Please take pity on us and leave quickly. After she finished speaking, she was about to chase Yunsheng out. Chapter 1172. Bo Pei. You sick woman, how can you be so unreasonable? Dear master, let's ignore them, Bo said angrily. Not only was the other party not grateful to her master for saving her daughter, but she was also afraid that her master would implicate them. Bo was furious. Bo, bring the little girl out first. I have something to say to this madam. Yunsheng was not angry. In her eyes, the other party was similar to an unreasonable patient. Moreover, the other party was a widow and an orphan. It was normal for her to be afraid of revenge. Bo could only reluctantly bring Ying out. World deity Bo, my mother will be fine, right? After leaving the kiln, Ying's face was full of worry. She was afraid that if Yunsheng was unhappy, she would not treat her mother. What could possibly happen? My dear master's medical skills are unparalleled in the world. Even if your mother is on her last breath, I can still conjure up a living person for you. Bo Sheep's face was filled with disgust. They were all humans. How could these people of the 8 wastelands be so spineless when compared to her master? The sun had completely set. Inside the kiln, it was dark. That woman was still looking at Yunsheng with vigilance. Madam, it's fine if you don't let me treat you, but you have tuberculosis. Ying will also get sick if she stays with you for a long time. Moreover, after you die, how do you plan to deal with your daughter? Yunsheng's words made the woman's face change again. Her life was no longer important. But what about her daughter? Since you will die sooner or later, why don't you let me take a look at your illness? Yunsheng said, and drew an illumination magic formation on the ground. The illumination magic formation lit up the kiln instantly. Seeing the magic formation fox, Ying's mother's expression eased a lot. You are really a doctor? My illness can still be cured? She coughed violently again. Tuberculosis was a fatal disease for the commoners, whether it was in the boundless continent or the 8 wastelands. Not only was it expensive, but it was also contagious. Therefore, most of the patients who contracted tuberculosis would be abandoned by their families. Ying and her mother originally lived in the slums. Because Ying's mother had tuberculosis and couldn't go to the town to find a doctor, she was abandoned in this abandoned brick kiln. Little Ying couldn't bear to see her mother suffer alone here, so she secretly ran away from home. In the past few years, she had been begging everywhere to survive. After Yunsheng listened to the woman's explanation, she felt very sympathetic towards the mother and daughter. For Yunsheng, who had modern medical knowledge, tuberculosis was not incurable, although there were no anti-inflammatory drugs in a modern sense. Yunsheng had the water of life, which could rejuvenate a person's necrotic blood and veins. Your illness isn't difficult to treat. I'll start treating you now. Yunsheng took out some water of life, diluted it, and fed it to Ying's mother. In the next few days, Yunsheng and baby sheep temporarily lived in the tile kiln. Ying's mother felt very apologetic about her previous reckless actions. Baby sheep and Ying got along well, and there was laughter in the dilapidated tile kiln for the first time. The water of life had miraculous effects. After Ying's mother drank it, her illness was quickly suppressed. Seeing her mother's body getting better day by day, a smile appeared on Ying's little face. Although her clothes were still very tattered, the dirt on her face had been washed away. She had a pair of big round eyes and delicate features. She was a little beauty and was very likable. She had a sweet mouth. Every time she saw Yunsheng, she would happily call her sister. Yunsheng also unexpectedly found that Yingying's memory was very good. She had only seen several kinds of pills once, and she had remembered them. Even the last time she went to the clinic to steal medicine, it was only because a barefoot doctor in the slums had once used similar medicine to treat a grandmother in the village. So, you were able to survive these few years because Yingying secretly went outside to find medicinal herbs. After Yunsheng learned of the matter, she still felt that it was very inconceivable. Yes, this child is very smart. It's a pity that she is from the human race. In the 8 wastelands, humans can only live as slaves and servants. Yingying's mother spoke of her daughter with a gratified expression. Why can you only be slaves and servants? There are many humans. If you all unite as one, you will not be worse than the orcs and half-orcs. Yunsheng and Yingying had been together for the past few days. She could feel that the mother and daughter had a human race is inferior mentality in their bones. Yunsheng still wanted to explain, but on second thought, the fear of the human race in the 8 wastelands toward the 8 wastelands beast clan had already reached a deep-rooted level. With just a few words from her, how could she possibly change the minds of the human race? Thinking of this, Yunsheng could not help but feel a little sad. Yingying was a good seedling, but it was a pity that she was born in the 8 wastelands. Your illness has probably stabilized. After a while, you will be completely cured. However, the environment in the tile kiln is too bad. You have to move to a better house. Yingying is still too young. It is not a solution for her to live outside with you for a long time. It is also time for her to move back to the slums. Yunsheng and Yingying's mother discussed. Yingying's mother was chased out because she did not have the money to treat her tuberculosis. Now that her body was better, she could naturally return to the slums. Although the conditions in the slums were not good, at least Yingying had 3 meals and did not have to worry about food and clothing. Yunsheng intended to send the mother and daughter back. After confirming that they could be accepted by the villagers, they would leave. After knowing that she could return to the slums with her mother, the happiest person was Yingying. The mother and daughter simply packed their luggage. Although it was called luggage, it was just a few pieces of clothes that were not much better than rags and a few pots and pans. After 2 years, the mother and daughter had the courage to stand outside the slums for the first time. Tuberculosis. That tuberculosis is back. When they approached the slums, the villagers saw little Yingying and her mother and fled in all directions in fear. It was as if they had seen something terrifying. Soon, an old man who looked like the village chief and a few sturdy men walked out. When they saw little Yingying and her mother, they had a look of disgust. You tuberculosis, you actually dare to come back. We shouldn't have been so kind as to leave you in the broken tile kiln. We should have burned you to death. Seeing the village chief and the others curse her mother, Yingying rushed up. You're not allowed to curse my mother. She is not a tuberculosis. Her illness has been cured by Big Sister Yin. She wants to move back to the slums. I want to see my father. Hearing Yingying's words, the village chief and the villagers realized that Yingying's mother's complexion was indeed much better. She did not cough as much as before. How is this possible? None of the people in the slums who were afflicted with diseases could survive. Chapter 1173. Due to the simple and crude environment and poor sanitation, there have been several cases of tuberculosis patients dying in the Crescent Moon Spring slums over the past few years. The village's barefoot doctor, Dr. Zhao, had tried many methods, but he was unable to save those patients, especially those with severe tuberculosis. Even the witchcraft of the beastmen doctors could not completely cure them. Yingying and her daughter had been chased out of the slums for 2 years, but they did not die of illness. Instead, they miraculously recovered. This news was simply a fantasy to the humans in the slums. Impossible, this disease is a terminal illness. Even the beastmen doctors in town said it. The village chief still had a face of disbelief. If it can't be cured, then it's because the medical skills are not good enough. If it's an illness, as long as the right medicine is used, it can be cured. Whether Yingying's mother's illness has been cured or not, you only need to find a barefoot doctor to take a look. Yun Sheng looked on coldly from the side. The villagers were suspicious. They also noticed Yun Sheng, who came with Ying and her daughter. Ying and her daughter rarely walked around after being chased out of the slums. This woman must have instigated them to come back. Go find Dr. Zhao to take a look. If he finds that her tuberculosis has not been cured, this time, directly burn her to death. The village chief said unhappily with a fierce face. Not long after, a villager dressed as a doctor walked over. He first took Ying's mother's pulse, then looked at her eyelids and tongue. After carefully inspecting everything, Zhao Dafu clicked his tongue in wonder. Strange, she's really cured. There's no illness at all. Village chief, Ying's mother has really recovered. Dr. Zhao was the only barefoot doctor in the village. Although his medical skills could not be compared to the beastmen in town, he could still see whether her tuberculosis had been cured or not. His position in the village was second only to the village chief, and he had some authority. Even she said that Ying's mother had recovered. Only then did the village chief and the other villagers doubtfully gather around her. Only, this lady, how did you cure Ying's mother? I heard that only a few brilliant witch doctors in the Celestial Fox tribe can cure tuberculosis. Could it be that you are a witch doctor? Dr. Zhao looked at Yun Sheng excitedly. When Dr. Zhao was young, he practiced medicine in the 8 wastelands for a while. His eyesight was much broader than the average villager. He looked at Yun Sheng. Although she looked like a human, she was skilled in medicine and had a magical beast with her. Her identity must not be simple. Once they heard that Yun Sheng was a witch doctor, the villagers immediately went into an uproar and were extremely excited. The village head was even more certain that Yun Sheng must be a noble celestial fox. Lady Celestial Fox, welcome to the slums. Please come in. Men, quickly inform little Ying's father that his wife and daughter have returned. The village head's face was immediately filled with smiles as he spoke eagerly. After knowing that his wife and daughter were safe and sound, Ying's father came to pick them up not long after. That night, in order to thank Yun Sheng for saving Ying and her mother, Ying's father also hosted a banquet at home to entertain Yun Sheng. The village chief of the slum, as well as several respected elders, were also invited to the meeting. Although it was simple tea and plain food, it was already very good for the slums. At the table, the atmosphere was joyous and harmonious. Lady Celestial Fox, I see that your medical skills are excellent. We still have some patients here. Because there is no way to enter the town, no one has examined them. Can you do us a favor and take a look at them? After 3 rounds of wine, the village head shamelessly pleaded. Although Dr. Zhao was in the village, his medical skills were ultimately limited. There were many miscellaneous diseases that Dr. Zhao could only be helpless. Today, a witch doctor from the Celestial Fox people had finally arrived. Moreover, she seemed to be very easy to talk to. The village head naturally wanted to take this opportunity to ask Yun Sheng for help. There is no problem with treating them. I could do a free consultation tomorrow to take a look at the villagers. However, village head, there's one thing that you must not misunderstand. I'm not some Lady Celestial Fox or a witch doctor. I'm a human just like all of you. However, I am a human from the Boundless Land. Yun Sheng kindly explained when she saw that the villagers were all fearful when they saw her. Who knew that it would have been better if Yun Sheng did not explain. After her explanation, the expressions of the villagers, including the village head, suddenly changed subtly. After all this time, the lady in front of them whom they had mistaken as a witch doctor was actually not Celestial Fox, but a human from the Boundless Land. As the people of the 8 Wastelands mainland, these people from the 8 Wastelands mainland were very clear about the relationship between the Boundless Land and the 8 Wastelands mainland. They had long heard that the beasts of the 8 Wastelands hated the people of the Boundless Land. They thought that a noble had come to the village, but who knew that they had attracted a jackal. The village head and the villagers instantly lost interest. They hurriedly got up and left. Yun Sheng did not pay much attention to the villagers' reactions. Yun Sheng slept in little Ying's house that night. In the middle of the night, Ying's mother woke up and realized that her man had actually secretly gotten up. He left the Kong bed and walked out stealthily. Where did her man go in the middle of the night? Ying's mother found it strange. She was a little worried, so she put on her clothes and followed him out. Ying's father walked all the way to the village head's house. It was already late at night, but the village head's house was brightly lit with a large group of people gathered in the dark. Ying's mother hid in a dark corner and looked inside. She saw that the elders of the village, including the village head, were all inside. These people were still at the table, toasting Yunsheng earlier. After they left Ying's house, they gathered at the village head's house to discuss the matter. One of the villagers was telling the village head and the others the news that he had just heard. The village head's old face flickered under the illumination of the oil lamp, looking a little scary. The moment Ying's father entered the house, everyone in the house glared at him angrily. Ying's father, look at what your wife has done. The woman she lured is currently wanted. If I hadn't discovered it early, we would have been in big trouble this time. The village head threw out a painting in exasperation. Ying's father opened the painting and realized that there was a woman's image on it. That woman was clearly the human doctor who had stayed at his house for the night. Tonight, at the table, he heard Yunsheng mention that she was a human from the boundless land. The village head felt uneasy. He asked the villagers to find out overnight and found out that a few days ago, the town's medical center was smashed by a woman of unknown origin who pretended to be Celestial Fox. Several people in the medical center had their arms chopped off. The town head's beastman doctor was the town head's sworn brother. Offending him was equivalent to offending the town head. When this news spread, the village head and the elders in the village were scared half to death. Chapter 1174. Offending the mayor and the orc doctor for an unknown human from the boundless world was something that the humans in the slums did not even dare to think about. Therefore, all the villagers, including the village chief, put the blame on Ying and her mother. That orc doctor has already issued a bounty for the whereabouts of the woman who committed the crime. There are images of that woman everywhere in the town. If someone sees her coming in here and reports it, we'll all be dead. This time, we are really doomed because of your family. The village chief's face was full of anger. Village chief, my wife and daughter must have been deceived by that woman. I will go back immediately and chase that person away. Ying's father was scared out of his wits. You are not allowed to go. What blockhead? If you go back and make a fuss, you will alert the enemy. We have to capture that woman and send her to town. This way, not only will we get the bounty, but we can also build a good relationship with the orcs. Perhaps we can even use this opportunity to get special permission to enter the town. The village chief's thoughts were much deeper than Ying's father's. Ying's father hesitated when he heard that. After all, the other party was their family savior. However, if he did not agree, there would be no place for his family in the slums in the future. Ying's father could only grit his teeth and agree. Ying's mother hid outside and listened in fear when the village chief and the others wanted to capture Dr. Yun. No, absolutely not. Dr. Yun was the benefactor of the mother and daughter pair. It was also because of the mother and daughter pair that she was involved in the slums. Ying's mother did not dare to think further. She panicked and was about to inform Yunsheng, who would have known that her mind was distracted, and she tripped over something and made a loud noise. The village chief and the others in the house were immediately alarmed. The villagers looked outside and saw Ying's mother looking at them in horror. Wife, why are you here? Did you hear everything just now? Ying's father's expression changed drastically when he saw that his wife was eavesdropping. How can you repay kindness with ingratitude? I won't let you capture Dr. Yin. Ying's mother took a few steps back, but the villagers were faster and surrounded her in an instant. If you let that woman run away, then use Ying's life as compensation. If you don't want anything to happen to your daughter, then pretend you didn't hear anything tonight. Tomorrow morning, you must act according to our plan. Seeing that his plan had been exposed, the village chief decided to shed all pretense of cordiality and viciously threatened. Hearing that her daughter would be implicated, Ying's mother was so scared that her face turned pale. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Not long after dawn, Yunsheng and Yingying got up. Inside the house, there was a sweet smell of porridge. There's food. For the past few days, after Baby Sheep had obtained the King-grade Soul Stone, Yunsheng had ordered it to eat only one meal a day in order to speed up its absorption of the Soul Stone. The rest of its time was used to digest and absorb the King-grade Soul Stone. Poor Baby Sheep could only starve from one meal to the next. A few days ago, it had followed Yunsheng to live in the tile kiln, so it was already starving. Now that Baby Sheep smelled the aroma of food, its beady eyes immediately shot out 2 rays of light. Without caring about anything else, it flapped its wings and flew in the direction of the stove. Yingying's mother was busy at the stove. On the stove, there was a big pot of porridge and a few coarse grain steam buns. The living conditions in the slums were very ordinary. An ordinary pot of porridge was already very luxurious for this poor family, not to mention the steamed buns. "Mother, is there something delicious to eat?" Yingying ran out happily and surrounded Yingying's mother like a little bird. Yunsheng also walked in. When she smelled the aroma of the porridge, she frowned. There was something wrong with this smell. Yunsheng's nose had smelled hundreds of herbs, so there must be some kind of anesthetic in the porridge. Yingying's mother actually wanted to harm her? In Yunsheng's heart, a surge of anger surged up. These villagers were really stupid to want to use such despicable herbs to deal with her. Before Yunsheng could open her mouth, Baby Sheep had already disappointingly flew over. When Yunsheng wanted to stop it, Baby Sheep had already finished a bowl of porridge in one breath. Yingying's mother saw Yunsheng and looked a little embarrassed. "Dr. Yun, our family is poor and there is nothing delicious to eat. Please make do with some." As she spoke, she scooped a bowl of porridge and brought it in front of Yunsheng. Her hands could not stop trembling. Yunsheng calmly took it. She looked deeply at Yingying's mother and raised the bowl. The porridge had just reached her mouth. Yingying's mother suddenly snatched the bowl from Yunsheng's hand. "Dear master, Baby Sheep's eyelids are so heavy." With a bang, Baby Sheep died. "Mother, what's wrong?" Yingying was startled by her mother's sudden action. Looking at Baby Sheep's appearance, her face turned pale with fright. "Dr. Yun, the village chief, and the others heard that you injured the people of the clinic. They used Yingying's life to force me to poison your porridge. You should leave quickly. In a while, the village chief and the others will bring people to catch you." Yingying's mother cried. In the end, she could not do anything to her savior. The corners of Yunsheng's mouth rose. Fortunately, Yingying's mother did not disappoint her. "Mother, what are you doing? How can you do this to Sister Yin?" Yingying also cried. The mother and daughter cried together. "Miss Yin, take Yingying with you. I did not follow the village chief's orders. They will not let us go." Yingying's mother twitched and pushed her daughter to Yunsheng's side. Yunsheng was speechless. She liked little Yingying, but she was not from the 8 Wastelands. Moreover, she was going to the Celestial Fox tribe. It was not appropriate to take a weak Yingying with her. "Yingying's mother, I do not deny that Yingying and I hit it off. However, I'm only a passerby. Are you sure you want to entrust your daughter to a stranger?" Yunsheng was in a difficult position. "Dr. Yin, if I'm not wrong, you are not from the 8 Wastelands. You are also not a purebred celestial fox. You should be from a place where humans are respected. I am very reluctant to part with my daughter, but if she follows me for the rest of her life, she will repeat the same tragic fate as me." Although Yingying's mother was only a village woman, she was not stupid. Especially after this incident, she understood that if her daughter stayed, she would not have a good ending. She could also see that Yingying, Yunsheng, and Baby Sheep are getting along very well these days. Compared to the past few years in the slums, they were happier than at any other time. As a parent, which parent would not think for their children? Chapter 1175. After Yingying's mother fell ill with tuberculosis, she had seen all kinds of people. Although she and Yunsheng had only met by chance, she had long seen that Yunsheng's medical skills were superb. She didn't have any of the subservience of the humans of Bahuang continent, nor was she like those domineering celestial fox. Most importantly, she was very good to Yingying. It was painful to be separated from one's flesh and blood, but if Ying stayed, she would repeat the fate of all the women in the slums and be a lowly human for the rest of her life. She wouldn't be able to enter the city, and if she fell sick, she wouldn't be able to receive timely treatment. The lives of humans were worthless in Bahuang continent. Most of the commoners in the slums were slaves. Even if there were a small number of free people, once they caught the eye of a half-beastman or a celestial fox noble, they would be forcefully taken in as concubines. Ying was very delicate and pretty, a femme fatale. If she stayed in the slums, there would only be one fate for her. I can give you some money to move your family away. Yinsheng was still unwilling to agree. She couldn't deny that she liked Ying very much, and had indeed thought of taking her as a disciple. However, she wasn't from here, so she would have to leave sooner or later. Dr. Yin, where can we move to? For thousands of years in Bahuang continent, the practice of humans being slaves is deeply rooted. This is our fate. I only ask that you help me change Ying's fate. That's enough. Ying's mother solemnly kowtowed a few times to Yinsheng. I will discuss this matter with Ying again. If she agrees, I will take her as my disciple. Yinsheng couldn't help but have a whole new level of respect for Ying's mother. She didn't expect this woman, who had wanted to chase her away at first, to be someone with great foresight. Pitiful parents, perhaps she could consider taking Ying as her disciple. However, before taking her in as a disciple, Yinsheng had to take care of some matters, because she had already heard a flurry of footsteps behind her. I knew you were unreliable. Today, no one is allowed to leave. More than 10 villagers rushed in. When Ying's father saw his wife and daughter, he wanted to go forward, but he was stopped by the villagers. Dr. Yun, quickly run. Ying's mother looked anxious. Village chief, I beg you, please don't capture Sister Yin. She's a good person, Ying cried. This woman cut off the arm of the doctor in Crescent Moon Spring Town. That doctor has put a bounty on her life. If we don't hand her over, our slums will suffer. The village chief said in a bad mood and ordered people to stop Ying. That's right. If we don't hand her over, she'll be a burden to the entire slum, the villagers chimed in. You can't hand elder sister Yun over. She knows how to treat illnesses. Without her, my mother won't be able to live. Little Ying bit the hand of the person who grabbed her. The other party winced in pain. Ying ran in front of Yinsheng and blocked the villagers. You wretched girl. The village head was so anxious that his eyes turned red. He slapped Ying in the face. The village chief's hand was grabbed. Yinsheng's face was cold as she looked at the villagers in the house. Idiot. Do you think you can change the fate of the human race by handing me over? Have you never thought of rebelling against the orcs? Look at you now. You live in the worst place, drink the dirtiest water, and your children and grandchildren live like slaves. He had seen stupid people, but he had never seen such stupid people. It's easy for you to say. The human race is oppressed. That's an irreversible fate. Our human race has been controlled by the 8 wastelands for thousands of years. The physique of the orcs is naturally better than ours. They are suitable for practicing martial arts and are good at learning magic. The wizard beast masters in the tribe can even summon powerful magical beasts. Compared to them, we're simply throwing an egg at a rock. When the villagers heard that Yinsheng wanted to rebel against the orcs, they were all dumbfounded and in disbelief. Was this human woman crazy? She actually said that she wanted to rebel against the orcs. Nobles and generals have the guts. If your physique is not good, it can be improved. If your talent is not good, you can study hard and train hard. The human race's talent in martial arts and magic is not inferior to the orcs. The human race is the native of the 8 wastelands. You have controlled this land. Yinsheng was almost angered to death by these ignorant humans. However, this wasn't surprising. After all, the ancestors of the human race had been slaughtered by the 8 wastelands beast race. Therefore, the blood of their descendants was filled with reverence for the 8 wastelands beast race. If she wanted to persuade this group of people, she had to make them suffer. Village chief, arrest her. The villagers said one after another, wishing that they could pull out Yinsheng's tendons and peel off her bones. Everyone quiet down. Just as the villagers were arguing endlessly, Dr. Zhao, who had been watching from the side, suddenly spoke. He walked in front of Yunsheng. Empty words have no proof. If you want us to believe you, then prove it to us. Dr. Zhao, what are you talking about? You actually believe this woman's words? The village chief and the villagers were dumbfounded. Dr. Zhao, who had always been very prestigious in the hearts of the villagers, actually believed this woman's words. Prove? How do you want me to prove it? Yunsheng heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there was at least one sober person among these humans. We have already informed the town chief. In another hour, people from the town will come. If you can defeat those people, we will believe you. Dr. Zhao's words were very direct. Whether it was in the boundless land or the 8 wastelands, the fist was the truth. If the villagers could not believe Yunsheng's words, then she would directly prove it with her strength. Logically speaking, Dr. Zhao also knew that he should not casually believe a woman from another continent. However, this woman could cure Yingying's mother's tuberculosis. That won't do. If this matter is exposed, the town chief will definitely vent his anger on all of us. The village chief was not willing to take this risk. Okay, I promise you. Don't worry, I will not use any of your manpower. I alone am enough to deal with the town chief and his subordinates. Yunsheng smiled and agreed. Dealing with the town chief and his subordinates alone? Was this woman's brain not working well? When Yunsheng said this, even Dr. Zhao felt that her brain was not working well. After saying that, she picked up the sheep and gave it a hard pinch at its philtrum. Baby sheep, it hurts. My dear master, did you take the wrong medicine? Why are you pinching baby sheep? Hey, why are there so many people? Don't tell me you're all here for breakfast. Baby sheep was sleeping happily. He woke up immediately after being pinched by Yunsheng. Still sleeping? If you continue sleeping, I will pluck all your wool and roast you. Wake up, it's time to fight. Yunsheng didn't care about the stunned humans in the room. She picked up Kissing Sheep, who was still shouting, and strode out. Chapter 1176. The Slums, Crescent Spring Town, where the outsiders gathered. Normally, Mayor Hu Yixue would never personally come to such a place. The slums were dirty, messy, and there was a strange smell in the air. At this time, that imposter should have already been captured by her human compatriots. We don't need to use a single soldier. Behind Hu Yixue was the half-blood beast doctor and over 20 half-blood beast elites. Big Brother is indeed wise. You only need to move your mouth, and that group of humans are scared half to death. The half-beast doctor complimented. The humans of the continent are born to be slaves. Their blood flows with the blood of betrayal. Back then, the 8 wastelands was conquered because there was a traitor among the humans. Even with the cooperation of the humans, Hu Yixue still cautiously brought a few dozen experts. The slums were right in front of them. Didn't we ask those humans to bring that imposter out? The agreed time has already passed. Why is there no one? Hu Yixue and the half-beast doctor were curious. Not only that, those humans were also nowhere to be seen. Are you here to find me? A lazy voice floated down from the sky. In the sky, there was a woman. She was alone, playing with a magic scepter in her hand. Behind her, there was a pair of pure white wings. It's her. She is the one who injured the people of the clinic. The half-beast doctor saw Yunsheng and suddenly shouted. Hu Yixue noticed the pair of wings behind Yunsheng's back. 9 Phoenix Tribe? Hu Yixue's expression was not good. He only heard that this imposter knew about the inheritance of Celestial Fox. Looking at it, could she be a half-beast from the 9 Phoenix Tribe? The 9 Phoenix Tribe was a superior beast tribe among the Bakra orcs. Even if the other party was just a half-beast, he could not easily provoke her. 9 Phoenix Tribe? Do you think I look like one? Yunsheng giggled, her voice as pleasant as wind chimes. She snapped her fingers, and the disguise spell on her body was immediately removed. As soon as the disguise spell was removed, Yunsheng immediately revealed her beautiful face. There was a hint of enchantment in her purity. Her black eyes were like stars, and her rose-colored lips made people unconsciously feel as if they had lost their souls. If Hu Yixue was still suspecting that Yun Sheng was a beast man from the Nine Phoenix tribe, after seeing her face, Hu Yixue was certain that this woman was Celestial Fox. Among the beast clans of the Eight Wastelands, only the Heavenly Fox had such a breathtaking beauty. However, looking at her appearance, Hu Yixue was confused again. Was this woman a purebred Celestial Fox? After all, such a temperament and appearance was very rare even among purebred Celestial Fox breeds. Haha, I didn't expect to see such a beautiful woman with such outstanding looks in this shabby place. For the sake of your face, regardless of whether you are a Celestial Fox hybrid or a purebred Celestial Fox, I have decided not to kill you. How about you be my 13th concubine? Hu Yixue couldn't help but lick his lips. This woman was much more interesting than the cat girl in the mansion. Bring me back? That depends on whether you have the ability to do so. Also, I have to ask my companions if they agree. Yin Sheng smiled faintly. Little beauty, where did your companions come from? Are you talking about those humans? They don't have the guts to go against the will of the Beastmen. The Beastmen warriors only need to lift a finger to flatten them. Hu Yixue and the Beastman doctor laughed heartily. The Beastmen warriors also laughed along. Their arrogant laughter spread into the slums. When the humans inside heard it, they were so ashamed that their faces turned red. Dr. Zhao and some of the hot-blooded youths in the village were so angry that their fists cracked. No one is allowed to move. This matter has nothing to do with our slums. The village chief ignored the taunts of the Beastmen. Patience. They had to be patient. The humans were oppressed by the Beastmen. That was a tradition. It had been like this for many years. Then let's see if he dares to go against you. Yin Sheng seemed to point at the ground carelessly. A summoning array flashing with powerful dark energy waves appeared. On the barren ground, black gas filled the air. Countless skulls and spirits drilled out of the ground. The terrible wails that sounded like the wails of ghosts and the howls of wolves were incessant. The terrifying evil spirit from the underworld contained killing intent and cruelty. The black evil spirit gradually took the shape of a human. It was a ghost that was 5 or 6 meters tall. Its body was made of evil spirits, and a king-shaped mark appeared on its forehead. What is that? When Hu Yixue and the others saw the king of evil spirits, their expressions changed greatly. The beastmen of the Ba Huang continent had never even heard of an existence like the king of evil spirits, let alone seen it before. The monster in front of them was shaped like a human, but it was also a human. Although they didn't know how strong it was, once it appeared, the pressure it gave off showed that it was not an ordinary person. Ant-like beastmen, you dare to insult my master. Die. The king of evil spirits was a summoned beast that Yun Sheng had obtained after she went to the underworld. This was the first time that Yun Sheng had officially summoned it. For a summoned beast, the summoner's summon was a form of trust. The king of evil spirits was bound to use this opportunity to show off. He waved his hand, and from his skinny ghost claws, a vengeful spirit was born. Those vengeful spirits were like sharp arrows. With the speed of lightning, they shot towards the beastmen on the ground. Shock appeared on Hu Yixue's face. He now understood that he had seriously underestimated this celestial fox girl. But it was too late to regret this. Hu Yixue was able to become the mayor of the Crescent Moon Spring Town and stand there for 10 years without falling. He also had his own abilities. At the moment of crisis, he muttered something, and a fiery red shield rose up beside him, protecting the half-orcs under the shield. Bang! 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 The king of evil spirits' ghost claws shot out explosively. The fiery red shield was directly pierced through. Hu Yixue's face was as calm as water. He didn't dare to be negligent. With a wave of his sleeve, many of the beastmen warriors beside him rose into the air. They formed a triangle and chased after the king of evil spirits. However, the beastmen soon discovered that their siege did not have much effect. Although the gigantic monster was huge, it was completely immune to magic and normal attacks. Hu Yixue's face became more and more ugly. The beastman doctor beside him also had a long face. Heavens, that master's subordinates are so powerful. In the slums, there was a commotion. Ying's family of 3 was tightly huddled together, extremely nervous. The villagers all stared with their eyes wide open, especially the village chief. He was dumbfounded and his face was filled with disbelief. Chapter 1177. The battle situation swung towards Yunsheng's side all of a sudden. Hu Yixue did not expect that he would actually suffer a major setback at the hands of a woman. In the blink of an eye, the king of evil spirits had devoured 3 or 4 half-beastmen. Its body had become even more powerful. "Brother, what should we do? This woman is too powerful." The half-beastman doctor felt his hair stand on end. Hu Yixue could not be bothered to listen to the half-beastman doctor. His eyes were fixed on Yunsheng, who was in the sky. "It's all because of that woman. As long as I kill her, the monster will disappear." Hu Yixue gritted his teeth. His fighting spirit swept out wildly. His foxtail and fox ears stood up. There was a red light in his eyes. He had already appeared beside Yunsheng. "I don't care who you are. I'll give you one more chance to choose. Become my woman or die." Hu Yixue had already turned into a half-beast. The celestial fox blood in his body began to stir. His originally handsome face was now in an inverted triangle shape. His sharp canine teeth made him look ferocious. "You don't deserve to mention the word die to me." Yunsheng was fearless. She spat out a few words from her cherry lips. "The first inheritance of the celestial fox entanglement." The wind suddenly blew. Yunsheng's long hair moved with the wind. Its tenacity was amazing. It was like countless sharp, flying thorns, entangling Hu Yixue. "You're not simple. You can force me, Hu Yixue, to this step. I originally thought that I wouldn't need to use my inheritance." Hu Yixue retreated a few steps, but his hands and feet were still scratched by the hair. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His eyes were cold and frosty. The inheritance of the celestial fox? Yunsheng's eyebrows twitched. Could it be that Hu Yixue had also awakened the inheritance? It was no wonder. As a mixed-blood celestial fox, since Yunsheng could awaken the celestial fox inheritance, it was not impossible for her to have some kind of celestial fox inheritance. However, he did not know what kind of celestial fox inheritance he had. "You really are a celestial fox, but unfortunately, you're just a celestial fox hybrid. I'll show you that even if you're a celestial fox hybrid, there's still a big difference. Awaken, Shaman Fox." Hu Yixue laughed sinisterly as he faced the sky and let out a sharp fox howl. As the fox's howl pierced through the clouds, a change occurred in the clouds. A fiery red wizard beast summoning formation appeared. "This is..." Yunsheng was forced back a few steps by Hu Yixue's sudden burst of strength. In the fiery red voodoo beast summoning array, magic power burned like flames, and a fiery red voodoo fox appeared in the array. It let out a low howl and slashed its claws at Yunsheng. Yunsheng was shocked. She did not know what this strange wizard beast was. The magic god bracelet in her hand suddenly lit up. Shield of Earth, defend. Wings of the Wind, accelerate. Yunsheng dodged the wizard fox's attack. The wizard fox's claws were extremely violent and came for the kill in an instant. Bang! The Shield of Earth, which had been strengthened by the magic god bracelet, was torn into pieces. The air was filled with yellow earth magical elements. With a thunderous sound, the wizard fox's claws slashed out a blood-red arc of light and slashed at Yunsheng. Yunsheng's figure flashed, and she was almost hit by the wizard fox's attack. The arc of light landed on the ground, causing the ground to tremble and the mountains to shake. A trench-like crack appeared on the plains. That terrifying power had actually split the plains into 2 halves. So powerful! Yunsheng and Popo were both shocked. They did not expect Fox Yixue's celestial fox inheritance to be so powerful. Seeing that Yunsheng was forced to retreat, Fox Yixue let out a cackle. "Great wizard fox, please bestow upon me supreme power." Fox Yixue's roar echoed throughout the plains. The fiery red supremacy of the fox tribe turned into a red shadow and fused with Hu Yixue as one. In this way, Fox Yixue who had been in the form of a half-beast a moment ago, turned into a celestial fox. After transforming into a celestial fox, Fox Ishue's defense and attack power increased greatly. His violent celestial fox power turned into countless sharp attacks and rushed at Yunsheng. Lightning thorns. Yunsheng retreated, and many bolts of lightning struck at Fox Ishue. Unexpectedly, Fox Ishue laughed maniacally and completely ignored the sky thorns. He grabbed one of the sky thorns in his hand. TSK, I really underestimated you. You actually know such advanced dark magic. Unfortunately, you met me, Fox Ishue. Fox Ishue spat out his scarlet tongue and swallowed the sky thorns in his hand. Yunsheng knew that something was wrong. She retreated a few hundred meters and barely stabilized herself. So fast. Popo, what did Fox Ishue summon? Why is it so powerful? Yunsheng was slightly out of breath. Even though she had the power of a Dharma god, she was still at a disadvantage in front of Fox Ishue. Dear Master, the witch fox is a type of ancient witch beast. This type of witch beast has very special attributes and is very immune to magic. It is not afraid of any magic attacks. Don't waste your magic power. Fox Ishue's voice sounded a little wary. Who would have thought that there was someone among the celestial fox today who could summon the witch fox? This is troublesome. Your master is not a warrior. Yunsheng smiled bitterly. As he spoke, Fox Ishue's tail swayed, and he suddenly appeared behind Yunsheng. His sharp fox claws were aimed at Yunsheng's throat. TSK. Yunsheng felt a burning pain in her throat. The fox claws had already opened a half-inch long wound on her throat. After Fox Ishue and the witch fox became one, his body was as agile as a fox, and his skills were very strange. It's not right to continue like this. I must think of a way to restrain the witch fox. A thought popped up in Yunsheng's mind. If the witch fox was not afraid of magic, then what was it afraid of? Master, please let Xiaohei come. The witch fox clan and the heavenly hound clan are mortal enemies. Xiaohei should have a way to deal with it. Just as Yunsheng was hesitating, Xiaohei suddenly spoke from the beast language ring. The summoning array shone brightly, and the heavenly hound, Xiaohei, rushed out. When Xiaohei, who looked like a wolf mastiff, smelled the scent of the witch fox, all the black fur on his body stood up like needles. Seeing Xiaohei suddenly appear, a trace of panic flashed across Fox Ishue's eyes. The witch fox's mortal enemy, the heavenly hound. It was the heavenly hound. Apart from being able to summon that monster, this woman could also summon the long-extinct heavenly hound clan. Only then did Fox Ishue realize that he had kicked an iron plate today. Xiaohei, kill him! Yunsheng shouted sternly, and Xiaohei and the witch fox started fighting. Chapter 1178. After Yunsheng had broken through to the divine sorcerer level, the magical beasts in the beast language ring had also benefited greatly. As a magical beast that had followed Yunsheng for the longest time, Xiaohei had not been able to unleash its true abilities. But today, it had met this witch fox, and it could use its abilities. The sky had gradually darkened. Unknowingly, it was already close to dusk. Looking from the ground, a fierce battle was raging in the sky. A cold glint flashed across Xiaohei's eyes. Without any fancy magic or martial arts, Xiaohei raised its head. Beside it, flashing energy fluctuations caused even the air to distort a little. Howl! A wolf's howl could be heard in the sky. Xiaohei howled to the sky. Black clouds rolled in the sky, but this time, the sky did not completely darken. An illusory heavenly dog pounced on Hu Ishue. Perhaps seeing the sky, the witch fox in Hu Ishue's body escaped in a panic. Xiaohei would not let go of such an opportunity. It bit the witch fox and bit its head into pieces. Even magic could not hurt the witch fox. Under Xiaohei's bite, it could not resist at all. Xiaohei's attack had directly broken the witch fox and Hu Ishue's combined state. Impossible! How could this be? Hu Ishue almost fell from the sky. He could not believe that the witch fox that he had painstakingly obtained would be broken by Xiaohei. Hu Ishue, who had lost his witch fox body, was already at the end of his rope. An arrogant figure stood in the sky, his sharp black eyes looking down at Hu Yixue from a height. At that moment, Yun Sheng was like an Azura that had stepped out of hell. She looked at Hu Yixue from the corner of her eyes. Hu Yixue, half of my blood is human. Today, I want to tell you that humans can conquer the heavens. On the other side, the King of Spectres had also killed the half-beast warriors. Boom! Like a firework, it suddenly exploded in the sky. Hu Yixue's body was hit by many magic spells. He fell from the sky and landed on the ground, no longer breathing. That scene fell into the eyes of everyone in the slum. In the eyes of the villagers, there was only horror and deep shock. Big Sister Yin, you're so powerful. Ying ignored her mother's obstruction and ran over. She looked at the disfigured corpse on the ground, then looked up at Yun Sheng, who was like a god of war. That Big Sister Yin, who usually laughed at her, had a face as cold as ice the moment she killed Hu Yixue. There was only determination on her beautiful face. Killing people was such a cruel thing. However, when Big Sister Yin did it, there was not the slightest trace of cruelty. At that moment, Ying's heart felt like it was about to jump out of her chest. For the first time, she realized that what Grandpa Village Chief and her father had said about humans being born weak were all lies. The human race was not weak. The human race could also become stronger. The power of man can conquer the heavens. At that moment, all the villagers in the slums ran out as well. On the ground, the half-beast warriors' corpses were lying all over the place. Those half-beast warriors who had been bullying and suppressing them for so many years were all dead. Dead. Hu Yixue is really dead. Dr. Zhao rushed out, tears streaming down his face. Won. They actually won. The human race actually defeated the half-beast warriors. This is not a dream, right? The village chief was also stunned. After a long while, the village chief seemed to regain his senses. It's not a dream, it's real. The human race has finally defeated the half-beast warriors. The villagers burst into cheers like a flash flood. This was the cheers that they had been suppressing for decades. It was also the cheers that the human race had been oppressed by the half-beast warriors for hundreds and thousands of years. At that moment, the entire slum was about to be turned upside down. Yun Sheng landed on the ground. She searched Hu Yixue's corpse and found 2 storage bags. Ying, you're quite brave. This is a corpse. Yun Sheng rubbed Ying's little head. Ying is not afraid. Ying is not even afraid of a living person, let alone a dead one. Ying looked at Yun Sheng with admiration. You're quite brave. Perhaps you have good potential to learn medicine. Yun Sheng muttered and looked at Ying a few more times. Earlier, when Ying's mother had begged her to take Ying away, Yun Sheng had hesitated. But now, it seemed that Ying was really suitable to learn medicine. After the battle, Yun Sheng counted the casualties and found that most of the people who Yixue had brought with him had been devoured by the king of evil spirits. Only one person was missing. The half-beast warrior doctor who had come with Hu Yixue earlier was missing. It was likely that the other party saw that Hu Yixue had been defeated and secretly slipped away. Thus, Yun Sheng sent out a few demon warriors to track down the whereabouts of that half-beast human doctor. Yun Sheng's battle had deeply affected all the villagers in the slum. Even the stubborn village chief had come to his senses. The villagers apologized to Yun Sheng and set up a banquet for Yun Sheng that night. Yun Sheng exchanged some pleasantries with the villagers and stayed in the slum that night. Late at night, Ying had fallen into a deep sleep. Yun Sheng, however, was not sleepy. Her mind was rewinding the scenes of her fierce battle with Hu Yixue during the day. Although she had defeated Hu Yixue, Yun Sheng felt a sense of defeat that she had not felt for a long time. In today's battle, if not for the fact that Xiaohei happened to be the witch fox's natural enemy, she would have been defeated by Hu Yixue. She clearly had several 8 Wastelands divine weapons on her, but she could not win against a summoned witch fox. My dear master, are you wondering why you could not win against the witch fox? Baby Sheep's eyes were drowsy as it rolled into Yun Sheng's arms. It knew that its master was a stubborn person. Although she had won today, its master would definitely not be able to figure it out. My dear master, all things in the world reinforce and counteract each other. Although you are a Dharma deity, you are still too young and have broken through your cultivation too quickly. You do not understand many of the true meanings of magic. In addition, the witch fox is immune to magic, so your advantage has become a disadvantage. Baby sheep used a rare, old-fashioned tone to enlighten its master. All things in the world reinforce and counteract each other. Yin Sheng was reminded by Bo Bo, and an idea flashed through her mind. That's right, baby sheep. You reminded me. After I broke through to become a Dharma deity, I thought that I was already at the top of this continent. However, I did not expect that the 8 Wastelands continent was a completely unknown world to me. In this place, even a Dharma deity would still be defeated by an inconspicuous half-orc. I have to become stronger. I have to continuously become stronger. Be it the 8 Wastelands divine weapons or summoned beasts, I have to make good use of every resource around me. Yin Sheng suddenly understood. As a sorcerer, she might not be the strongest. However, as a sorcerer, summoner, and doctor, she, Yin Sheng, would be the strongest in both the boundless land and the 8 Wastelands continent. Chapter 1179. Yin Sheng was a transparent person to begin with. If she won, she would not be arrogant. If she lost, she would accept it. She was disappointed earlier because of a momentary setback. Now that she was enlightened by baby sheep, her heart was enlightened. In the dark night, Yin Sheng's eyes sparkled. The thought of becoming stronger was deeply ingrained in her mind. However, Yin Sheng also realized that becoming stronger was not as simple as she thought. Especially today, after witnessing the power of the witch fox, she understood that simply improving her magic did not mean that she would be unstoppable in the Bahuang continent. What would she do if she encountered a magical beast that was immune to magic? She would not be so lucky every time to encounter an enemy that was the nemesis of her summoned beast. Dearest master, have you forgotten the demon god transformation that the big pervert of the underworld taught you? Baby sheep reminded. Baby sheep, I've told you many times that the Netherworld Ghost King is now my master in name. Don't call him a big pervert. Yin Sheng was both angry and amused. In any case, anything related to the underworld is good stuff. Baby sheep curled its lips. Although it did not like anything related to the underworld, it had to admit that the demon god transformation that the Netherworld Ghost King, whose strength was comparable to a superior god, invented was pretty good. The demon god transformation is only an incomplete magic. Can it really compete with the witch fox summoning technique that is both witchcraft and summoning? Yin Sheng did not understand. Dearest master, don't forget that the Netherworld Ghost King is a big pervert. The magic that he comprehended will naturally be a little perverted. Although the demon god transformation is a type of magic, it is also a magic that refines a powerful demon god's physique. It can strengthen your physique and let you gradually have a demon god's physique similar to the Netherworld Ghost King's. In short, if you practice it for a long time, there's a chance that you will have an immortal and indestructible demon god's physique. Baby sheep was very happy when it thought that its dearest master could be like itself, immortal and indestructible. Its disdain for the Netherworld Ghost King also lessened a little. Bo, it was going to be master's summoned beast for its entire life. Yin Sheng also didn't expect that the devil god transformation could actually allow one to possess an immortal and indestructible body. She immediately began to meditate and cultivate the demon god transformation. On the same night, somewhere in the Bahuang continent, among the luxurious buildings, there were 8 palaces. The palaces were very luxurious, and the paths were deep and serene. The holy water in the golden bathtub seemed to be boiling as it surged towards the golden Qilin's body. As the holy water seeped into the golden Qilin's body bit by bit, its originally scaly limbs turned into palms and ankles. He had slender limbs, sexy wheat-colored skin, and seductive almond-shaped eyes. The man's long black hair was wet and hung on his collarbone. giving him an indescribable sense of laziness. Some men were born to be a femme fatale. One look, one breath, it was impossible to ignore. He was obviously a very devilish man, but he had an aura that made people have no choice but to retreat. Just by sitting in the bathtub, the man's body emitted the aura of a king that made people unable to resist. When these two auras mixed together, it formed an indescribable sense of oppression. After being cursed by the Qilin for many years, Yi Baiming finally returned to his human form. However, plans couldn't keep up with changes. Yi Baiming's trip to the Bahuang continent was far more difficult than he had imagined. The reason for this situation was Shinjizi. According to Yi Baiming's earlier estimates, after he and Yunsheng parted ways, he should have already reached the beast god altar in the Bahuang continent and completed his baptism. Shinjizi used the Netherworld Ghost King's eagerness to save people and attempted to construct a second demon suppression formation in the underworld. After his deeds were exposed, he faked his death and escaped. He originally thought that he could smoothly escape from the underworld with Yi Baiming's protection. Who would have thought that although his every move could be hidden from the Netherworld Ghost King, he couldn't hide it from the underworld god, Underworld Sunday. When he was on his way to the Bahuang continent's teleportation formation, an army of underworld gods led by the underworld god, Underworld Sun, appeared. The general of the underworld army in front of the underworld Sun forced Yi Baiming to hand over Shinjizi. Yi Baiming naturally didn't agree. With his strength alone, he avoided the 10,000-strong army of underworld gods. Along the way, even Yi Baiming was heavily injured and almost died in the underworld. Luckily, this guy was born with a tough life. In the end, he dragged his heavy injuries to the Bahuang continent. Once he reached the Bahuang continent, Shunjizi was like a fish in water. The people of the beast god altar rescued the two of them. It was also because of this that Yi Baiming missed the best opportunity to meet up with Yunsheng. During the holy water baptism, Yi Baiming closed his eyes. Two figures stood behind him. Two pairs of eyes fell on Yi Baiming. After Shinjizi recovered his physical body, he wanted to immediately cut Yi Baiming into pieces. Who knew that this brat, who was on his last breath, would say something to the first priest? Not only did the first priest not kill him, he was even willing to help him undergo the baptism. Shinjizi still couldn't get over this matter. The second priest, Shunjizi, stared at Yi Baiming's back with a dark gaze. "Boss, you really use so much holy water to baptize this brat. Aren't you afraid that he will bite us back?" Shinjizi still had some lingering fear towards Yi Baiming. The second priest of the beast god altar, Shunjizi, was also a cunning old fox. He was good at scheming. After hiding in the underworld for so many years, he didn't give himself away. This time, it was Yi Baiming and that human female magician of unknown origin who interfered, causing his plan to fail in the end. This matter, to Shinjizi, was a stain in his life. With an uproar, Yi Baiming stood up from the bathing pool. He was wearing a long robe that was the same color as the night. Few people were so suited to black. The man in front of him, however, was born with black. The golden scales on his body had already faded, but his golden eyes didn't change at all. The biting cold aura on his body made the first priest's eyes, which were hidden under his hat, shrink. "Thank you." Yi Baiming's voice carried a hint of laziness. That voice was like a nightshade blooming in the dark night. It had a soul-stirring effect. Before he finished speaking, he was already several feet away. He had the intention to leave. "Wait, brat. Do you really think that my beast god altar is a place where you can come and go as you please?" Shinjizi flew into a rage out of humiliation. This guy surnamed Yi. Did he really think that the beast god altar was a bathhouse? He casually came to take a bath and then left. This guy was a bath tyrant. There was no such thing in the world. Regarding the update, there have been a lot of complaints recently. I feel like I have to explain to everyone that Fuzi has encountered a major change in her work. In addition, she is preparing to transition between the new and old books, so the recent update can only be done temporarily. After I deal with this matter and tidy up my mood, I will work hard to write more. In addition, this book really has too many imperfections. Thank you to everyone who has persisted in subscribing, voting, and encouraging me. Chapter 1180. Could it be that the second priest still wants to keep me here? Are you sure you have the ability to do so? Yi Baiming's gaze suddenly turned cold and pierced towards Shinjizi like an awl. Shinjizi's neck suddenly stiffened. A cold, calloused finger had already landed on his throat. The man's magnetic voice, along with his hand, landed beside Shinjizi's ear. With just a little bit of strength, Yi Baiming would break Shinjizi's throat. You, one ungrateful thing. Don't forget who helped you restore your physical body. Shinjizi shuddered, but he didn't know who was the one who wanted to kill Yi Baiming a moment ago. The beast god altar helped me restore my human body, but the two priests also watched this prince bathe for free for a long time. Speaking of which, the beast god altar and I are even now. Yi Baiming's face was red, but his ears were not. He had completely removed his relationship with the beast god altar. When the second priest heard this, he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This man was too shameless. What was there to see when a man looked at another man? However, Yi Baiming's 2 fingers on his throat made the second priest spit out a single word. The second priest knew that Yi Baiming was a madman. If he were to say something that made him unhappy, he would suddenly exert force, and his neck would really be broken like a duck's neck. Your Excellency, Prince Regent, although you have restored your human form, your real purpose in coming to the 8 Wilderness Beast God altar is not as simple as restoring your human form. The first priest of the Beast God altar, who had been standing to the side and hadn't spoken, finally spoke. His voice was hoarse, and it was dark under his wide robes. His appearance couldn't be seen clearly. As he spoke, the second priest, Shunjizi, who had been held captive by Yi Baiming, suddenly disappeared. In a flash, he was standing next to the first priest. Yi Baiming had no idea what method this person had used, and when he had snatched the person from under him, Yi Baiming felt like he was facing a formidable enemy. This first priest of the beast god altar was even more profound than the other priests. His skills had really reached an unfathomable level. Although they were only a few steps away, Yi Baiming could feel a pair of deep eyes on him. That kind of gaze seemed to be able to pierce through a person's soul and directly see into the bottom of their heart. This was not a good feeling. First priest, as you said, what do you think is the purpose of this king coming to the 8 Wastelands Beast God altar? Yi Baiming also wanted to know what this first priest, whose strength, age, and origin were all unknown, knew. In fact, Yi Baiming was also very curious as to why the first priest would so generously use the holy water of the beast god altar to baptize him. Prince Regent, you did not hesitate to take the risk to enter the 8 Wastelands beast god altar. Your purpose should be for a very important person, and that person should be related to the curse of the Black Chelan tribe. The first priest's hoarse voice was very uncomfortable to listen to. Yi Baiming's temples throbbed. He felt uncomfortable, as if he had been seen through. He frowned and did not answer yes or no. Prince Regent, as far as I know, there is no cure for you. The curse in your body is not incurable. As long as you promise me 2 things, I will help you to break the curse, the first priest said slowly. First priest, do you think this king is the kind of person who would casually negotiate with others? Yi Baiming was displeased. He did not know why, but this was the first time he met the first priest of the beast god altar, but he had an indescribable feeling of repulsion towards him. Prince Regent, you don't have to worry. The 2 things I want you to do are not harmful to you at all. The first thing is to seize the Black Chelan King's relic. As for the second thing, it is to enshrine this statue in the Black Chelan tribe's holy land. After the first priest finished speaking, he threw something to Yi Baiming. Yi Baiming lowered his head to take a look. There was a strange wooden statue in his hand. This statue looked like a fox, a dog, and a wolf. At a glance, it looked like all kinds of animals, but at the same time, it looked like nothing. The statue looked like it was carved out of wood, but when he held it in his hand, it was cold and very heavy. With Yi Baiming's arm strength, this statue that he could hold with his hand weighed at least 500 to 600 gold. Seizing the Black Qilin King's relic is not difficult, but what is this statue? Although Yi Baiming was an enemy of the Black Qilin tribe, he wouldn't rashly put something of unknown origin into the Black Qilin tribe's holy land. Boss, how could you give something as important as the beast god statue to this brat? Shenjizi had just escaped death, and now he hated Yi Baiming even more. Seeing his boss give the beast god statue to Yi Baiming, he was dumbfounded. It is just as Shenjizi said. This is the 8 desolate beast god statue. It can be used to absorb the faith energy of the beast god. It is also the source of the beast god altar's power. Those who hold the beast god statue will be able to greatly increase their ability to absorb magic energy and battle chi. The first priest didn't hide anything. The reason the beast god altar was able to stand tall in the 8 desolate continent for so many years was because of this mysterious beast god statue. This kind of statue relied on faith energy to constantly strengthen the beast god altar. If the statue was placed in the Black Qilin tribe's beast god altar, it would be able to absorb the faith energy of the Black Qilin tribe. This would cause the people of the Black Qilin tribe who had been united for so many years to become hostile. Why should I believe you? Yi Baiming held the beast god statue in his hand, but he still had some hesitation. Prince Regent, my conditions are beneficial to you and not harmful at all. In order to show my sincerity, I can directly tell you that one of the conditions to break the Qilin King's curse is to merge with the Black Qilin King's relic. As for the second condition, once you help me place the beast god statue in the Black Qilin tribe's holy land, I will definitely tell you. The first priest was certain that Yi Baiming wouldn't refuse his condition. In reality, even if the first priest didn't say it, Yi Baiming would still go to the Black Qilin tribe to take the Black Qilin King's relic. After Empress told Yi Baiming about his origins, Yi Baiming suspected that his origins might be related to the Black Qilin King. Although the Black Qilin King had been dead for many years, there should still be a part of his memories in the Qilin King's relic. Perhaps the Black Qilin King's relic could tell him who the mysterious voice that appeared in the Qilin King's tomb belonged to. All right, I can agree to help you. However, whether it's the Black Qilin King's relic or the Qilin tribe's holy land, it's not easy to enter. Yi Baiming had already returned to his human form. In the past few years, his strength had increased by quite a bit. In addition to the black demon battle armor that Yunsheng had refined for him, his current strength should be able to contend with He Yao. Chapter 1181. Even so, Yi Baiming did not have complete confidence that he would be able to defeat He Yao if he met him again. That was only limited to He Yao in the past. No one knew if He Yao had made any new breakthroughs in the past few years. You don't have to worry about this. In another 6 months, it will be the Ba Huang clan competition that is held every 5 years in the Ba Huang continent. I will let you participate in this competition as the representative of the beast god altar. At that time, you will have the opportunity to obtain the Black Qilin King's Sarira and enter the Qilin sacred grounds. The first priest was very satisfied that Yi Baiming had agreed. However, before the family competition, I hope that Prince Regent can stay at the beast god altar and comprehend it properly. If nothing goes wrong with the baptism of the holy water this time, it will definitely awaken the second Qilin inheritance in your body. The first priest warned Yi Baiming. Awaken the second Qilin inheritance. Yi Baiming muttered to himself. He had promised little Wildcat that he would immediately meet up with her after he regained his human form. However, if he left the beast god altar, the chances of awakening the second Qilin inheritance would be much lower. First priest, I would like to ask, who is the current saintess of the celestial fox tribe? Yi Baiming was sure that if Yunsheng came to the Ba Huang continent, she would definitely send her ashes to the celestial fox tribe. The saintess of the celestial fox tribe. From what I know, ever since the previous saintess of the celestial fox tribe went missing, the celestial fox tribe has yet to choose a saintess. However, if they choose a new saintess, she will definitely participate in this competition. The first priest paid attention to Yi Baiming's reaction. Since that's the case, then I will stay at the beast god altar for half a year. After half a year, I will definitely fulfill my promise with the first priest. Yi Baiming's lips unconsciously curled up when he heard this. It seemed that little wildcat's trip to the Heavenly Lake tribe was not as simple as it seemed. If he was the patriarch of a celestial fox tribe and had not been able to choose a saintess for a long time, what if a woman who looked exactly like the previous saintess suddenly appeared? That woman's strength was far beyond that of an ordinary celestial fox. Presumably, the celestial fox people would do anything to make her stay. Oh well, half a year later, he would meet up with little wildcat at the family competition. Just as she had said, a lifetime was a long time. In order to break the curse and be with her as soon as possible, he would endure for another half a year. Yi Baiming immediately made the decision to stay at the beast god altar and slowly digest the changes the holy water brought to his body. Just like this, Yin Sheng and Yi Baiming, due to a strange combination of factors, temporarily stopped at the Crescent Moon Spring Town and the beast god altar. After Hu Yixue was killed, the Crescent Moon Spring Town was like a group of dragons without a leader. Under the leadership of Yin Sheng, the resentment that the villagers had accumulated for several decades exploded out all at once. They rushed into the town and launched an unprecedentedly fierce battle with the beastmen in the town. Even though many humans were seriously injured or even died in this fierce battle, with the thought that the human race was not inferior to the beastmen, the human race actually achieved a great victory for the first time. In the end, they even occupied the mayor's residence in one go. However, not long after occupying the mayor's residence, another problem quickly arose. You're saying that we still can't relax and have to strengthen the defense? Yin Sheng had just joined forces with Dr. Zhao to treat the injuries of the wounded when she received bad news. Dr. Yin, you may not know, but the Crescent Moon Spring Town is a part of Song due the number of guards here is less than 200. After Hu Yixue's death, his sworn brother, the half-beast doctor, had most likely fled to Tsong due he sent the news of the Crescent Moon Spring Town being captured by the human race. There are 30,000 troops stationed in Songdu. The village chief had a bitter expression. The strength of the human race was really very meager. This time, they had already performed exceptionally well in capturing the Crescent Moon Spring Town, but they had also caused many injured people. In the slums, at least half of the young and strong men were injured. If they encountered an army of 30,000 again, they would probably be defeated before they even started fighting. Village chief, don't be anxious. I'll go and inquire again. In the next few days, choose some soldiers from the human race who can still fight. I want to give them special training. In addition, you and Dr. Zhao go and count how many beastman captives there are in the town. Yin Sheng was shocked, but quickly calmed down. After killing Hu Yixue, there were still thousands of Hu Yixue. If they wanted to change the fate of the human race, a simple attack was clearly not enough. They had to make them fundamentally stronger. If they wanted to do this, they had to pull the beastmen into the human race's camp. In the next few days, Yin Sheng began a big reshuffle of the slums. At the same time, she also ordered that no one was to be harsh on any of the beastmen captives. Even her families had to be properly settled. What surprised her was that in the slums with only a few thousand people, other than the old, weak, sick, and disabled, many of them actually had magic talent and martial talent. As for the specific reason, Yin Sheng asked the village chief afterward. Only then did she know that the humans in the slums of the Crescent Moon Spring were once the descendants of a powerful human tribe hundreds of years ago. In the Crescent Moon Spring town, there is a well called the Crescent Moon Well. The water in that well is very beneficial to martial artists and mages. However, ever since the Bakra orcs invaded and the Crescent Moon Well was occupied, the physique of the human race slowly weakened. Especially after Hu Yixue came. He even sealed the well, causing complaints to be heard everywhere. But even so, our physique is still stronger than that of ordinary humans. The village chief lamented. He also did not expect that the human race would regain the crescent moon well one day. After Yunsheng learned of this news, she even went to check the crescent moon well. After taking a closer look, she discovered that the water in the crescent moon well was indeed somewhat mysterious. If it was combined with her secret beast blood pill, it could cause a person's physique to change in a short period of time after consumption, reaching a physique similar to that of a beast man. Yunsheng immediately decided that starting from the children in the slums, everyone would need to use the water from the crescent moon well and the beast blood pill. In just 5 or 6 days, almost everyone in the slums underwent a pitiful change. Even the oldest village chief, who originally had a head of gray hair, looked as if he had become 10 years younger after taking the crescent moon well and the beast blood pill. That's strange. Why is there still no movement from Tsangdu after so many days? While the village chief was happy, he was still worried that the people from Tsangdu would attack. However, what surprised him was that there was still no movement from Tsangdu. Don't worry, village chief. I have my own arrangements. Yunsheng smiled mysteriously. That night, Queen Night Demon was summoned by Yunsheng. After the master and servant had a secret discussion for an hour, Queen Night Demon took advantage of the night and rushed in the direction of Tsangdu. Chapter 1182. Not long after Queen Night Demon left, on the second day, Yunsheng brought Dr. Zhao to the prison cell in Crescent Springtown. In the past, the prison cell in Crescent Springtown had imprisoned a large number of escaped human slaves, as well as some disobedient beastmen. After Yunsheng arrived, she released all the people who were inside the room. Currently, those imprisoned inside were all beastman warriors who were originally under Hu Ishue. There were about 200 to 300 people in the entire prison cell. After Hu Ishue was killed, the beastmen in the town were like scattered sand. Under the pincer attack of Yunsheng's magical beasts, they were quickly defeated and captured. The village chief's suggestion at that time was to kill all these beastmen to prevent future troubles. However, Yunsheng did not do so. Instead, she gave the order to treat these beastman warriors well. This also caused the village chief and the group of people to be puzzled. Yunsheng came to the prison cell today for this batch of beastman warriors. Despicable humans, quickly let us out. After Yunsheng and Dr. Zhao entered the prison cell, they heard a rough voice echoing in the prison cell. That is Xiong Su, a beastman warrior. He has always been Hu Ishue's right-hand man. This time, when Hu Ishue went to the slums, he was in charge of guarding the mayor's residence. This person's strength is not ordinary. He is a martial arts grandmaster expert. If not for the help of Lord's magical beasts, we would not be able to do anything to him. Dr. Zhao said beside Yunsheng. This Xiong Su is also a tough man. After he was imprisoned, he was different from the other beastman warriors. He refused to eat the food given by humans and would curse every day. Yunsheng looked at the beastman Xiong Su in the old house. She saw that he was 2 meters tall, and his appearance was indeed like a big black bear. His arms were as thick as her waist. As Xiong Su was extremely strong, the villagers had no choice but to use 4 to 5 iron chains to lock him up. Xiong Su also saw Yunsheng. He had long heard that the mayor was killed by a human. At first, he thought that the other party would at least be a strong warrior like the behemoth giant. Who would have thought that she was a weak and slender woman who was much more beautiful than those concubines in the mayor's mansion? Even if he was beaten to death, Xiong Su would not believe that this woman had killed the mayor with her real ability. Xiong Su naturally thought that Yunsheng had colluded with the human race and used her beauty to bewitch the mayor. You're the one who killed the mayor? Xiong Su's eyes were red, and the chains on his arms rattled. He wanted to go up and break this human woman's neck. I was the one who killed Fox One Blood. Xiong Su, I respect you as a good man. If you can pledge your allegiance, I can let you go. Yunsheng was not afraid of Xiong Su at all. She directly opened the prison door and walked in. You can't, Yin Darren. Xiong Su is strong and powerful, and is also a warrior. If you let him go, there will be endless trouble in the future. Dr. Zhao was shocked and hurriedly said, if you have the ability, then kill me. As long as I, Xiong-su, am alive, you lowly humans will not be able to order me around. In Xiong-su's eyes, the human race was lowly. They were weak, timid, and did not deserve to order Xiong-su around. Xiong-su, don't be in a hurry to refuse. Listen to me first. Yin-sheng was not in a hurry. Instead, she changed the topic and began to tell a story. Once upon a time, there was a half-beastman. He was born with great strength, but because he was not a purebred beast, he had been enslaved in his tribe. When he came of age, he left the tribe alone and went to the big town to make a living. But because he was a half-beastman, he could not pass the imperial exam and become an official. Helplessly, he could only go to a remote town and become a guard. There, he met a half-beastman woman. But, unfortunately, that half-beastman woman caught the eye of the local mayor. When Yin-sheng said this, Xiong-su suddenly roared. When Xiong-su roared, the chain on his arm was suddenly torn apart. He waved the broken chain and rushed in front of Yin-sheng. "Protect Aaron!" Dr. Zhao roared, and the human guards in the cell all rushed out. Xiong-su's tall figure seemed to have been petrified and was fixed half a foot away from Yin-sheng. In a flash, Yin-sheng had already used a space-time restriction magic and fixed Xiong-su in place. "If you want to kill me, then kill me. Damn woman, don't think you can humiliate me." Xiong-su's face was red with anger. In the story that Yin-sheng said just now, the half-beastman who was forced to leave the tribe and had his beloved taken away was talking about Xiong-su. "Xiong-su, what I'm saying isn't just about you. In the 8 Wastelands continent, the purebred beastmen are revered. Most of the half-beastmen are facing the same fate as you. Families separated and suffering humiliation. Compared to the human race, you seem to be much better. But in fact, you are exactly the same. Even so, do you still want to work for those purebred beastmen?" Yin-sheng's words made Xiong-su and the other half-beastmen in the cell silent. Everyone says that the human race is cunning. Do you think that with just a few words, you can convince me and the half-beastmen here? In your dreams, the human race cannot defeat the powerful Bakr orcs. In his heart, Xiong-su knew that the half-beastmen had always been bullied and humiliated. But that was fate. If they did not obey, the powerful purebred beastmen of the tribal countries would definitely kill all the half-beastmen. His family and tribesmen would not be spared. They could not imagine the days when the human race, half-beastmen, and beastmen were equal. "If you don't do it, there is no possibility. Why don't we make a bet? If I can take down Songdu with the power of the human race, you will submit to the human race. If I can't do it, then I will keep my promise and let you and your families go." Yin-sheng's words were undoubtedly nonsense in the ears of Xiong-su and the half-beastmen in the cell. The half-beastmen were very clear about the strength of the human race. Just fighting against the hundreds of half-beastmen warriors in Crescent Springtown had already caused the human race to suffer great losses. This woman actually said that she wanted to use the power of the human race to take down the entire Songdu. That was Songdu, one of the 10 capital cities in the Celestial Fox tribal country. It had 30,000 troops stationed there, and the military strength there was dozens of times that of Crescent Springtown. "All right, let's make a bet. I, Xiong-su, swear on the souls of my bear warriors that if you can take down Songdu, my brothers and all the half-beastmen in the town will coexist peacefully with the human race from now on. But if you lose, you must also keep your promise." Xiong-su said resolutely. "I, Yin-sheng, swear on the name of my Dharma soul that regardless of victory or defeat, I will definitely not make things difficult for any half-beastman in the cell." After Yin-sheng finished speaking, a 6-colored Dharma soul shone above her head. When the 6-colored Dharma soul that was as dazzling as a rainbow appeared in the cell, the eyes of the half-beastman warriors all changed. Chapter 1183. Be in the boundless land, the 8 wilderness mainland, or the human race, half-beastmen, or orcs, there was one thing in common. That was respect for the strong. The half-beastmen submitted to the orcs, and the human race submitted to the half-beastmen and the orcs because they were not as strong as the other party. A six-color Dharma soul had never appeared in the 8 wilderness mainland. Needless to say, Yunsheng was willing to make a promise in the name of the Dharma soul. On one hand, it showed Yunsheng's strength. On the other hand, it also showed Yunsheng her sincerity to all the half-beastmen. She wanted to recruit the half-beastmen with sincerity, using her actions and vows. Even the half-beastmen warriors who did not know magic knew what it meant to swear in the name of the Dharma soul. This human race actually swore with the Dharma soul. Moreover, she was a powerful magician with a 6-colored Dharma soul. It turned out that there were such powerful magicians in the human race. It was no wonder that the mayor Hu Ishue was killed on the spot. The contempt on Xiongsu's face earlier was replaced by reverence. At the same time, the other half-beastmen in the cell were also shocked. It was not until Yunsheng left that the half-beastmen in the cell came back to their senses. Brother Xiong, did you really agree to that woman? Do we really have to obey the orders of the human race in the future? Some half-beastmen warriors were very dissatisfied. Do you really think that less than 100 humans can defeat the guards of Tsangdu? Xiongsu would not admit that he was swayed by Yunsheng's words just now. That human woman said that the half-beastmen and the human race lived in peace and enjoyed the same rights as the orcs. Living together as equals was not slavery, nor was it obeying orders. Instead, it was complete equality. In his heart, he had once longed for the human race and the half-beastmen to live in harmony. The half-beastmen could also become officials like purebred orcs and not have to worry about being oppressed by purebred orcs. But when he thought of the 30,000 guards of Tsangdu, Xiongsu knew that it was impossible. But Brother Xiong, I think that woman might really be able to do it. I heard that she has a terrifying demonic beast that is even more powerful than the mayor's witch fox, another half-beastman warrior said. Furthermore, I have a feeling that this human is different from ordinary humans. Although she imprisoned us, she did not mistreat us. If the previous mayor caught the enemy, he would have been tortured to death. Among the half-orcs, Xiongsu was not the only one who was swayed by Yunsheng's words. In retrospect, although the human race had imprisoned them, they were provided with 3 meals a day. Even when their families came to visit, they said that the human race did not make things difficult for them. The life of the beastmen in town was very normal. Unknowingly, there were already different voices in the cell. Although they are very powerful, the people of the Celestial Fox tribal nation are also very powerful. Don't forget that there is still a person in Tsangdu. As long as he is there, Tsangdu will be an iron wall. Let alone capturing it. Even wanting to invade, it is very difficult. Xiongsu's words made the half-beastmen in the cell silent. The only thing we could do now is to wait. We will wait for a few more days. Xiongsu also faintly felt that perhaps this human woman could really do it. Xiongsu also could not explain why he had such thoughts. He only intuitively felt that perhaps this woman's appearance would change Tsangdu and even the future of the entire 8 wastelands. Every action of the half-orcs in the cell was also reported to Yunsheng. After Dr. Zhao came out of the cell, his face was full of worry. His mind was filled with the fact that Lord Yin actually boasted in front of the half-orcs that he would take down Tsangdu. These words must not be passed to the village chief. Otherwise, the village chief would be scared to death. Right now, they hadn't even settled the matter of protecting the Crescent Moon Spring Town. Truly, before one wave had settled, another wave had risen. Lord Yin was too willful. However, Dr. Zhao did not dare to say these words to Yunsheng face to face. It was just that his worries were all written on his face. Dr. Zhao, do you have a lot of things to ask me? Yunsheng looked at Dr. Zhao's appearance of a little old man and found it funny in her heart. Lord Yin, could it be that everything you did just now was deliberately done for those half-orcs to see? Dr. Zhao recalled the situation in the cell just now and was still somewhat puzzled. That's right. I need to recruit those half-orcs. According to what I know, the total number of humans and half-orcs in the 8 wastelands is about 90%. Of the remaining 10%, the purebred Bakra orcs and the purebred other beasts occupy another 10% and 90% respectively. Only by uniting the half-orcs with the human race be willing to truly turn the tables. Sheng had also considered that she would only stay in Crescent Springtown for at most a month. Therefore, during this period of time, she had to think of a way to eliminate the conflict between the human race and the half-orcs. After all, most of the half-orcs still had the blood of the human race in them. It was relatively easier for them to accept the human race. Lord Yun, your original intention was not wrong, but you should not have made a promise to capture Tsangdu. That is simply an impossible task. Dr. Zhao was endlessly regretful. Dr. Zhao, not only do I want to capture Tsangdu, I want to capture it within a month. However, Sheng smiled faintly. She had long expected the reaction of a human race led by Dr. Zhao. A month? Nonsense. Lord Yin, this time, even if you want to punish this old man also has to advise you not to be reckless. Tsangdu is one of the main cities of the Celestial Fox tribe. There is also a very terrifying person in Tsangdu. As long as he is here, Tsangdu will not be broken. Dr. Zhao rambled on. He believed that Sheng had just come to Tsangdu and was not familiar with everything here. A person? Could it be that the city guard of Tsangdu is a very powerful, purebred celestial fox? It would be best if he's a celestial fox. I happen to be looking for someone from the Celestial Fox tribe. Sheng was interested when she heard this. Wrong, Lord Yun. The city guard of Tsangdu is indeed a purebred celestial fox. However, the powerful person this old man is talking about is not the city guard, but a counselor under the city guard. He is the most powerful person in the entire Tsangdu. There is actually such a person in Tsangdu. I thought that the Celestial Fox tribe did not have any powerful, purebred celestial fox. When Sheng heard this, she showed some curiosity. The Celestial Fox tribe was said to be the weakest of the Bakra orcs. Sheng did not expect that there was such a person in Tsangdu. Lord Yin, to be exact, that person is not a purebred celestial fox. He is just a half-beastman from the Black Goose tribe. However, he is very powerful and is known as the military counselor of Tsangdu. He is our biggest obstacle to capturing Tsangdu. Dr. Zhao simply told Sheng everything he knew about Tsangdu. Chapter 1184. Tsangdu was one of the 10 capital cities in the Celestial Fox tribal country. Under Tsangdu, there were nearly 100 towns about the same size as Crescent Springtown. The city guard of Tsangdu was called Hu Yu. He was a few years older than Hu Yishue, about 40 years old. Hu Yu's mother was from a prominent family in the Celestial Fox tribe. His father was the descendant of a large family in the Celestial Fox tribe, so his identity was very prominent, and he was entrusted with the position of Tsangdu city guard. He was much stronger than Hu Yishue, and his strength was roughly equivalent to the martial god. He was a rather troublesome character. However, Hu Yu also had a very big flaw. He was reckless and not good at scheming. Such a character was obviously not enough to take on such an important position as the city guard. Therefore, Hu Yu's family spent a lot of effort to invite a military counselor, who was the Tsangdu military counselor that Dr. Zhao had mentioned earlier, Crane Sound. Crane Sound is also a half-beastman, although he is not proficient in martial arts, nor does he know profound magic. He comes from an ancient beast clan. This clan is now withered, but in history, it flourished for a period of time and produced the most famous tactician of the beast clan of the Eight Wastelands. Although Dr. Zhao still had some hostility towards half-beastmen, he was still quite respectful when he mentioned Crane Sound. Ever since Crane Sound came to Tsangdu, Tsangdu had encountered no less than 10 battles and various beast tides, but every time, Crane Sound resolved it. Moreover, Tsangdu's losses were very small each time. There was even a record of no casualties. Therefore, in the Celestial Fox tribal country, there's a saying, if you have Crane Sound, 10,000 men will not be able to pass. When Dr. Zhao said this, the worry on his face became heavier. With such a character guarding Tsangdu, Lord Yin actually still threatened to take down Tsangdu within a month. This was undoubtedly a fool's dream. Ha, Dr. Zhao, whether it is really one man holding back 10,000 men, we will only know after we fight. Hearing you say this, I really want to meet Crane Sound. The corners of Yin Sheng's eyebrows raised slightly, and a thought-provoking smile appeared on her lips. Calculating the time, Night Demon Queen should have arrived at Tsangdu by now. Queen Night Demon, what's the situation in Tsangdu? Yin Sheng asked. Master, we should be able to reach Tsangdu before sunset. We haven't encountered any soldiers from Tsangdu along the way. Queen Night Demon's voice drilled into Yin Sheng's mind. As for whether the crane sound was round or flat, the news should be coming soon. It turned out that Yin Sheng already knew that he was too unfamiliar with the situation in Tsangdu, so she sent Night Demon Queen to Tsangdu early in the morning. After you reach Tsangdu, find out the whereabouts of two people. One is the city guard of Tsangdu. The other person was Crane Sound. Especially the latter, you must record everything he says and does in the past few days. Night Demon Queen's skin was dark, and she was good at hiding in the dark. She was also clever, so she was the most suitable person to scout for information. Queen Night Demon hurried along. After a day and a night, she arrived in Tsangdu. Compared to Crescent Spring Town, Tsangdu had a population of nearly 100,000 and a vast territory. After searching for a while, Night Demon Queen quickly locked on to the most luxurious mansion in the city. In the Shanghai City Guard mansion, Night Demon Queen muttered something. Her exquisite figure swayed, and her body suddenly shrank a lot, turning into a demon the size of a moth. She flapped her wings and began to search in the Tsangdu City Guard mansion. Night Demon Queen's luck was very good. After searching for a while, she found Tsangdu City Guard Hu Yu. Hu Yu was an ordinary-looking man from the Fox clan. At this moment, he was sitting in the main hall of the Tsangdu City Guard mansion. In the main hall, there were two men. Night Demon Queen knew one of the two men. It was the half-orc doctor who fled from Crescent Spring Town earlier. As for the other man, just looking at his age, he was in his early 30s. His skin was as white as jade, and he had delicate features. He was a handsome man. Night Demon Queen quietly flew into the main hall and landed on an illuminating magic array. Her appearance was no different from an ordinary moth. At this time, the half-orc doctor spoke. Lord City Guard, Crescent Spring Town has been captured for many days. Please send troops to support quickly. That day, when the half-orc doctor saw that the situation was not right, he secretly escaped. He thought that after arriving at Tsangdu City Guard would immediately launch an attack. Who knew that Hu Yu had been biding his time? Almost 10 days had passed, and the City Guard still had not attacked Crescent Spring Town. This City Guard has long heard of this matter. What do you think? Hu Yu was just like what Dr. Zhao told Yinxing earlier. He was an unlearned person. It was okay to let him go to the battlefield, but if it was talking about using troops, Hu Yu was not good. He had always relied on He's help, and this time was no exception. He thinks that we still need to bide our time. The human race is cowardly. Even if they are temporarily united because of one person's strength, they will be divided after a long time. Moreover, in Crescent Spring Town, there are many half-orc residents. Even if the human race can rely on external forces to temporarily suppress them, it will inevitably lead to another riot. That beautiful scholar man spoke unhurriedly. What a cunning half-orc. No wonder Tsangdu City did not send troops these days. So they're planning to let the half-orcs in Crescent Spring Town rebel. Night Demon Queen heard clearly from his side. Lord you don't know. That woman who killed the mayor is very strong. Most of the half-orc warriors in the town have already been killed or captured by her. The half-orc doctor had personally witnessed Yun Sheng's power. Even Hu Yue, who had Celestial Fox's inheritance, was killed by her. Not to mention those stupid half-orcs in the town. Although Crescent Spring Town is a poor town, it is still a town after all. There is still a crescent well in the town. If that place is really occupied by the human race, and the news spreads out, I'm afraid it will attract the disloyalty of other towns. Hu Yu had also waited for more than 10 days. He also felt that it was time to make a move. The human race, that kind of ant-like existence, actually dared to behave atrociously in his territory. He must strangle all the local humans. Lord City Guard, There is no need to use Tsangdu's military strength for a small crescent spring town. He has two plans. With the two plans combined, we will definitely be able to take back Crescent Springtown. Lord, don't worry. In less than a month, he will be able to take back Crescent Springtown without using a single soldier. EC's face was also filled with confidence. The human race from the boundless world, no matter who the other party was, if they underestimated Tsangdu's people, they would definitely pay a heavy price. Since that is the case, go ahead and do it. I will be waiting for your good news. Who you laughed loudly. Chapter 1185. In the dead of night, in the mayor's mansion of the Crescent Spring town, there was no light in the room. Yun Sheng sat in the dark, her black eyes sparkling, and there was a faint smile on her lips. Baby Sheep, who was nestled comfortably in Yun Sheng's arms, saw the smile of its master, and its black bean eyes flashed with a wicked light. Baby Sheep, its dear master, was going to be naughty again. It liked its evil-looking master. As the saying goes, one is marked by the company one keeps. Unknowingly, Baby Sheep had been imperceptibly influenced by Yun Sheng. From a cute sheep, it had become a black sheep with a black belly. At this time, Ming's son, who was far away in the underworld, suddenly had a very ominous premonition. I always have a feeling that it is a very wrong decision to let the weak egg stay in the human world. Well, if there is a chance, I still have to go to the human world. He frowned his good-looking brows. Yin Sheng had just learned from Queen Night Demon about the conversation between Hsue and the mayor of Tsangdu. Two strategies to take back the Crescent Springtown without losing a single soldier. One of the strategies was to use the spies in the Crescent Springtown to bewitch the half-beast men in the prison and break out of prison. The second strategy was to poison the water source of the mayor's mansion. What a good Hsue! As the rumors said, he was an outstanding schemer. Hsue's strategies, in the eyes of the Eight Wastelands, were indeed unexpected and indeed insidious and vicious enough. However, Hsue did not expect that what he was facing now was not an ordinary human. What he was facing was a descendant of Yin and Huang with modern consciousness, Yin Sheng. Yun Sheng boasted that she had also received Eastern and Western higher education. Although she was not proficient in Sun Tzu's art of war and the 36 stratagems left by her ancestors. But in any case, she was a modern person who had seen countless melodramatic serials and palace dramas. In her eyes, Hsue's strategy was child's play. Dear master, that half-beast man is so vicious. Do you want to go to Tsangdu and kill them all? Baby Sheep had an expression of sharpening a knife. Anyone who looked down on their beloved master would be cut into pieces and chopped into pieces. Haha, to think that you're a world deity. You should know that there's a saying in the art of war. Only by winning without fighting can one be considered victorious. In any war, the ultimate victims are the civilians. The human race was too weak to withstand another bloody battle. However, those who scheme against me must pay a heavy price. Yun Sheng stroked the Popo sheep's wool with a profound expression. Kissing Sheep seemed to understand. What did his dear master mean by that? Huh, do you know what it means to give someone a taste of their own medicine? Yun Sheng laughed mischievously. Dear master, what do you mean by that? Bobo Sheep asked with a puzzled expression. You'll know after a while. Politeness demands reciprocity. This is the principle that we humans use to welcome our friends from afar. Yun Sheng blinked her eyes. A few days later, a few spies from Tsangdu quietly infiltrated the prison cell of Crescent Moon Springtown. Is this Xiong so? The spies from Tsangdu had long learned from the orc doctor that there was a powerful orc imprisoned in the prison cell. He was a trusted aide of Hu Yishue, the former mayor of Crescent Moon Springtown. He was most confident in inciting the orcs to riot and starting with Xiong Su. Xiong Su, who was in the cell, nodded. We're spies from Tsangdu. Lady Crane Sounds sent him a letter. 3 days later, at midnight, Lord Crane will bring 200 warriors from Tsangdu and hide outside Crescent Moon Springtown. At that time, you guys will find an opportunity to escape from prison. The two sides will work together and definitely take back Crescent Moon Springtown. The spy handed a letter to Xiongsu. Xiongsu accepted the letter without batting an eyelid. After the spy left, the cell door next to Xiongsu's opened. A person walked out from inside. It was Yunsheng. I've already done as you instructed. This is Crane's letter. You have to fulfill what you promised me. Xiongsu's face was dark. This morning, Yunsheng came to the cell again. She told Xiong so that in a few days, a spy from Song-du would come to contact him. Don't worry, I'll definitely do what I promised you. I've already ordered someone to send the concubine from the mayor's residence to your house. As long as you leave the cell, you can take her far away. Yunsheng smiled. Everyone had weaknesses. Xiongsu was a man, but his infatuation had also become his greatest weakness. Even if I help you get the secret letter, we won't help you deal with Lord Crane. Xiongsu was still a little unconvinced and felt that Yunsheng was threatening him. Yunsheng did not think much of it. She opened the secret letter. The handwriting on the letter was like clouds and water, and the words were very provocative. If these simple-minded half-beastmen were to read this letter, they would definitely be bewitched. This Crane sound was truly a talent. Since he was a talent, there were only two results. He could either be recruited or obliterated. The corners of Yunsheng's lips curled up. 3 days later, she could not wait to see how the military counselor of Song-du would deal with the aftermath. After the secret letter was delivered, Crane and a group of warriors from Song-du had already rushed to a temporary gathering place outside Crescent Springtown. Crane's arrangement was tight. When he set off, he and his subordinates disguised themselves as a caravan. Along the way, no one discovered their whereabouts. A few spies who were hiding in Crescent Moon Springtown also rushed over after receiving the signal. From the spies, Crane learned that his letter had been sent to the cell. He believed that the orcs would riot on the night of his operation. What's the movements of that human female mage in the past few days? Crane asked again. There's nothing unusual. That woman is also very strange. She strolls around the town every day. She only visits some tea houses and shops. The place she most often goes to is the medical hall. Other than that, there's nothing unusual. Yunsheng's behavior confused even the Song-du spies. She did not look like a big battle at all. What exactly is that woman selling in her gourd? Let's go into the town and take a look. Crane led a few warriors into Crescent Springtown. When they entered the town, the notice that prohibited humans and magical beasts from entering had already been removed. Caravans and humans came and went in an endless stream. Everything was normal. Sir, why does the entire town look the same? Not to mention the humans. Even the half-orcs look like they are living and working in peace and contentment. The half-orc warriors who arrived at the town with Craneshire were very puzzled when they saw this scene. If the orc doctor had not said it himself, these orcs really did not dare to believe that Crescent Springtown had been invaded by humans. The current Crescent Springtown looked no different from the other towns in Song-du that they had passed through along the way. Chapter 1186. The Crescent Springtown looked the same as before, but in Kraneshi's eyes, it was different. No, if you look carefully, you will find that there is something different. The barrier between the half-beastmen and humans here has disappeared. There are many humans walking on the streets, and even the nearby residences have been moved in by a large number of humans. Craneshire had never seen any place in the 8 wastelands where humans and half-beastmen could live in harmony. Craneshire frowned. Could it be that the people of the Crescent Springtown were not worried at all that Song-du would send people to attack the Crescent Springtown? And that human who killed Hu Ishue, how could there be nothing strange? Craneshire had been a military advisor for several years, but he had never encountered such strange people and things. At this time, there was an uproar at the entrance of the town. A human elder who looked to be of virtue and prestige posted an announcement on the bulletin board at the entrance of the town. As soon as the announcement was posted, there were many people surrounding it. Lord Yun has issued a new decree again. What new decree is it this time? The humans and half-beastmen in the town swarmed up. Craneshire and a few half-beastmen exchanged glances, lowered their heads, and approached the bulletin board. They also wanted to see what tricks the human was playing. The announcement that had just been announced listed several new policies, and the ink had not dried yet. Craneshire glanced at it and saw a few government decrees on the announcement. From today onwards, all residents of the Crescent Spring Town can go to the mayor's mansion to receive a share of Crescent well water every month according to the number of households. The town encourages land reclamation. The children of those who can reclaim land in the town can enter the town school and martial arts school for free to study and learn martial arts. Abolish all systems related to slaves. Humans and half-beastmen are strictly prohibited from fighting in private. Marriage between half-beastmen and humans is encouraged. On a notice, there were nearly 10 government decrees listed in great length. The more he read, the more shocked he was. It was not only because these government decrees had never been heard of in the 8 Wastelands continent, but also because these decrees were challenging the entire system of the 8 Wastelands continent. Your Excellency, is the mayor of the human clan crazy? All of these decrees are against the rules of the Heavenly Fox tribe. The warriors of Tsangdu tribe sighed inwardly when they saw this. He actually dared to announce such a decree. Although it's against the rules of the Celestial Fox tribal nation, it has won the hearts of the people. Craneshire withdrew his gaze and observed the reactions of the humans and half-orcs after reading the decree. Whether it was the orcs or the half-orcs, after seeing the new government order, they all had faces full of joy. They rushed over, and some people even began to discuss informing their friends and relatives in the neighboring towns to let them move to Crescent Spring Town as well. A smart ruler knew how to win the hearts of the people. Regardless of the strength of this human who had seized the Crescent Moon's Spring Town, the new decree that she had promulgated was undoubtedly deeply popular. Craneshire assisted Huyu, and most of the decrees in Tsangdu came from Craneshire. He was very clear that these decrees of Crescent Springtown might not be enough, but if they were implemented for a long time, it would definitely form a prairie fire in the Celestial Fox tribal nation and eventually affect the entire Celestial Fox tribal nation. More and more humans and half-orcs would respond to Crescent Springtown's actions. Sir, what should we do? It was the first time the soldiers of Tsangdu country saw Lord Craneshire reveal such a solemn expression. End the battle quickly. Before the decrees truly take effect, kill all the humans and half-orcs who have already been affected. A hint of ruthlessness that did not match his temperament flashed across Kraneshi's handsome face. 3 days later, around midnight, Craneshire brought the soldiers of Tsangdu country and rushed to the mayor's residence. Inside the residence, it was pitch black. It was a night without stars, and the entire mayor's residence was silent. Lord Craneshire, according to your orders, the water in the mayor's residence has been poisoned. I have found out that the people in the mayor's residence have been poisoned. Break the door. With Kraneshi's order, dozens of soldiers of Tsangdu country pounced on the mayor's residence like hungry wolves. The door opened with a bang, and in the courtyard, there was only a dim illumination magic array shining with light. Immediately search for the whereabouts of the human mayor and capture him alive. Craneshire ordered. The soldiers received the order and quickly rushed into the room to search. Time passed by minute, and Craneshire was waiting for a reply. Thud, thud, thud. The soldiers rushed out, their faces full of strangeness. Sir, people, they're all gone. In the entire mayor's residence, inside and outside, there was not a single living person. Those who had been poisoned earlier were like snow under the sun, disappearing without a trace. Kraneshi's forehead suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. He suddenly realized that something was wrong. Bang! The door behind him suddenly closed. The dull sound made Craneshire and a group of warriors turn their heads. The courtyard suddenly lit up, and a crisp and pleasant voice, accompanied by a tall and straight figure, seemed to float down from the sky. A distinguished guest has arrived. Yinsheng has been waiting for you here for a long time. It was a young woman dressed in a female magician's robe, who suddenly appeared in the courtyard that was originally empty. She sat in front of a table, and there was a zither placed on the table. The woman's appearance was as bright as the bright moon in the sky. Her bright eyes were smiling, and she nodded at Craneshire. "You're the new mayor of Crescent Springtown, the female magician who killed Hu Ishue. Those government decrees in the town were also issued by you?" Craneshire did not expect that this seemingly weak and slender woman was actually the rumored female devil who killed without spilling blood. "Lord Craneshire, you're too polite. I'm not a mayor, but a passerby who happened to pass by Crescent Springtown. I saw injustice on the road and helped my fellow humans." Yun Sheng's fingertips gently plucked on the strings of the zither. On the zither, the sound of the zither was melodious. Looking at Yun Sheng's expression, it was even more leisurely. The more she was like this, the more nervous those soldiers of Songdu looked. They had now discovered that tonight they had fallen into this woman's trap. However, this woman actually dared to come alone and even had the leisure to play the zither here. Did she really think that with her strength alone, she could repel so many experts from Songdu? What a good help. What you've done has already committed a capital offense. Kraneshi's gaze sharpened, and the soldiers beside him were all ready to shoot like arrows. "Slow down. Everyone who comes is a guest. Before fighting, it's better to listen to Yun Sheng play a song. If after this song, you still want to fight, Yun Sheng will definitely accompany you to the end." Yun Sheng's eyes flashed with a cunning light. Under her hand, her fingertips moved, and the sound of the zither poured out like flowing water. Chapter 1187. Hisi was born in a prominent clan. Although her clan had declined, she became someone else's military advisor. But deep down, he was still an elegant man. Yun Sheng's zither was obviously not an ordinary zither. As soon as Yun Sheng played the zither, Crane knew that something was wrong. Yun Sheng's first move was a famous ancient song, Dihong's song. "Don't be fooled, everyone." Although Hisi did not know the zither music, he felt his chi and blood become chaotic when he heard it. He knew that the zither music must be very powerful. But who would have thought that the Songdu warriors were all unable to move? Their eyes were lifeless, and they didn't hear the crane's command. "Lord EC, this is just a song. You don't have to worry too much. It won't cause any harm to your subordinates." Yun Sheng smiled, and her black eyes turned golden. In the starless and moonless sky, a golden demonic eye had appeared out of nowhere. The golden demonic eye was like a golden moon that shrouded the mayor's mansion. The golden puppet pupil was the second celestial fox inheritance that Yun Sheng had comprehended after fusing the Dihong song with the corpse puppet technique. After Yun Sheng broke through to become an archmage, the golden puppet eye also had a breakthrough. Accompanied by Yun Sheng's zither music, it could create an incomparably realistic illusion. The sound of the zither was getting louder and louder. Cold sweat trickled down from the tip of Crane's nose. He only felt that images gradually appeared before his eyes. The screen switched to Songdu. Inside the Songdu City Lord Manor, Hu Yu's face was pale, and he looked like he had yet to recover from a serious illness. "What? All the water sources in the city have been poisoned. Who did it?" "Lord City Guard. The person who poisoned you has already escaped. However, after investigation, the poison in the water is exactly the same as the poison that Lord Hisi used in Crescent Moon Springtown. That poison is Lord Hisi's unique poison." Eli's eyes suddenly widened. His poison? What was going on? The sound of a crane. Could it be that Eli poisoned the city? In the picture, Hu Yu flew into a rage. Lord City Guard, Lord Husher, and the warriors who went to Song Do have already left for several days. There's no news at all. Perhaps he has already betrayed the city lord and defected to the human race. Eli's mother was originally a human. I heard that when he was young, he once studied under a great human scholar. Crane Sound has wild ambitions. I'm afraid he has already colluded with the human race and fled to Crescent Moon Springtown. Damned Hisi, to think that I trusted him so much. Capture Hisi's family and hang them in front of everyone. Hu Yu was furious. Hisi's family members were dragged out of the mansion. You did all of this." Eli was extremely agitated when he saw this scene. He rushed to Yun Sheng in a rage and pressed down on Yun Sheng's music. The sound of the zither suddenly stopped. Yinsheng looked straight at EC. Lord Husher, this is just an illusion. Why'd I have to take it seriously? But if Lord Husher is stubborn, I can't guarantee whether the things in the illusion will come true. Lord Husher should know better than me what kind of person Hu Yu is. Yinsheng's demonic eyes pierced into He Si's heart. He Lai could only feel a sense of helplessness rising within him. Yes, this woman was right. It was just an illusion. But all of this could happen at any time. This terrifying woman had long been in control of everything. She probably already had her claws in Songdu. What do you want? You should know that even if I join the human race can no longer become a great force. The strength of the celestial fox tribal country and the 8 desolate tribes is far from what the human race can contend with now. Although He Si governed Songdu for Hu Yu, he was not a naturally cruel and bloodthirsty person. In fact, he himself had been wandering around since he was young because of his identity as a half-beast human. In order to protect the life of his human mother, he had been serving Hu Yu for so many years. Lord Husher is right. The human race today is not strong enough to compete with the Bakr orcs, but it may not be so in 10 years or 100 years. You should have seen my ability. I don't intend to kill Hu Yu. I can control Hu Yu and make him a puppet city guard. In the future, Songdu will be managed by you and the human race. Yinsheng was not interested in being a city guard. She still had to escort Hu Shang's ashes back to the Celestial Fox tribe. This EC was able to keep a clear head under her golden puppet eyes, which proved that this person was indeed not an ordinary person. He was the most suitable person to be the city guard behind Songdu. Can you really do it? EC found it hard to believe. Yinsheng, will definitely do what I promised. What do you think, Lord Husher? You are a smart person. I think you already have an answer in your heart. Yinsheng put away her zither. He hesitated for a moment, but immediately he already had an answer in his heart. Am willing to form an alliance with the human race. From now on, we will advance and retreat together and never leave each other. He reached out his hand. Yinsheng smiled faintly and also reached out her hand. The two of them shook hands. At this time, the door of the mayor's mansion opened. Outside the door, hundreds of half-beast human warriors who were imprisoned in the prison rushed in. The leader was Xiongsu. What did he see? Lord Husher, you? Why are you with the human race? Xiongsu and the others were still confused. It turned out that about half an hour ago, Xiongsu and the others who were imprisoned in the prison heard a commotion. The half-beast human captives opened their eyes and found that the door of the prison had been opened. Lord Yin said that you can go. The human guards were actually here to let them go. They could go. Tonight, this 1 hour, wasn't at the time that Lord Husher and them agreed to cooperate from the inside and outside. The human race actually let them go at this time. Weren't they afraid that they would cooperate with the people of Songdu and counterattack Crescent Spring Town? What conspiracy is that woman up to again? Xiongsu's question was also the question of the other half-beast humans. What conspiracy? Lord Yin has already formed an alliance with Lord Husher. At this moment, they're discussing important matters in the mayor's mansion. If you don't believe me, you can go and see for yourself. The human guards looked proud. What? Lord Husher has formed an alliance with the human race? This is impossible. In the hearts of Xiongsu and the others, Songdu He Tian was a mythical figure. How could such a person be easily formed an alliance with the human race? With a stomach full of doubts, Xiongsu and the others hurried to the mayor's mansion. When they entered, the first thing they saw was the scene of Yinsheng and Husher shaking hands and forming an alliance. In the eyes of Xiongsu and the others, there was disbelief and shock. It had only been one night, but Yinsheng's position in their hearts had risen to a new height after tonight. Xiongsu no longer hesitated. He knelt down together with hundreds of half-beast humans. Xiongsu is willing to lead all the half-beast humans in the town to submit to Lord Yin. Chapter 1188. After subduing Husher, half of the threat in Songdu had been eliminated. The remaining half was Hu Yu, the city guard at Songdu. Sir, please come with me to Songdu. I know Huyu's character very well. Sir's second celestial fox inheritance should be enough to make him your puppet. Husher only found out afterward that Yunsheng was a celestial fox hybrid. Hila was rather surprised by this, because as far as Husher knew, even if it was a purebred celestial fox, there were very few people who had two inheritances at the same time at Yunsheng's age. Moreover, these two inheritances were very powerful. Especially Yunsheng's second inheritance, the Golden Eye Centipede, was enough to control a warrior like Huyu. This was also why Husher earnestly asked Yunsheng to go with him to Tsangdu to subdue Huyu. However, most people in the human clan disagreed with Husher's invitation to Yunsheng to Tsangdu. Even Xiong Su and the others also had reservations. Although Husher had already formed an alliance with a human clan, he was meticulous. If he cooperated with the people of Tsangdu, Sir Yunsheng would be in danger. Faced with all kinds of doubts, Yunsheng gladly accepted Husher's invitation. Don't doubt people you use, and don't use people you doubt. Since I've formed an alliance with Husher, I will trust him 100%. Yunsheng decided to go to Tsangdu. The matter of the slums was more or less settled. With the village chief, Xiong Su, and the others, Crescent Spring Town could already operate smoothly. It was also time to leave. While leaving the town, Yunsheng also made a decision to take Yingying with her. Although Yunsheng also considered it, Yingying was still young. Since she had already promised Yingying's mother to take Yingying as a disciple, Yingying was her disciple. How could she, Yunsheng's disciple, take the ordinary path? However, it was also a good experience for her to go to the Celestial Fox tribe. Yingying was still a child after all. When she heard that she could always be with Yunsheng and the cute baby sheep, she was very happy and immediately agreed. She kowtowed to Yunsheng and handed her tea, officially acknowledging Yunsheng as her master. Chinese medicine was particular about inheritance. After Yunsheng arrived in the Boundless Land, although she opened a medical hall, she did not really take in disciples. After spending the past few days with Yingying, Yunsheng, Yingying had an outstanding memory. If she was taught well, she might really be able to pass her medical skills. This joy also diluted the sadness of parting by a lot. After Husher, and the others, and Husher, and the others, and Husher. Due to bringing Yingying along, Husher considerately slowed down their journey. Everyone walked and stopped along the way. Yunsheng also took the opportunity to teach Yingying a lot of medical knowledge. Yingying indeed had a lot of talent in learning medical skills. She could understand a lot of medical knowledge with just a little bit. Yunsheng decided that when they arrived at the next big city, she would test Yingying's physique. If it was suitable, she would also teach Yingying the Yin family's inherited cultivation method. One day, when they were about halfway through their journey, Crane Sound suddenly asked, "Sir, Husher has something to ask you. I clearly ordered people to poison the water source of the mayor's residence. Why are all of you safe and sound?" The poison that Husher used in the mayor's residence was his own secret medicine. Others could not cultivate it at all. It's very simple. It's because I'm a doctor. I only need to smell your poison, and I can confirm what kind of medicinal herbs it was refined from. Therefore, everything you saw in the illusion was also real. If you don't surrender, I will definitely poison the water source of Tsangdu, Yunsheng said calmly. But sir, there are hundreds of thousands of people in Tsangdu. If you poison the water source, you will definitely implicate the entire city. Husher could not help but feel his scalp tingling. The beautiful woman in front of him was really unpredictable. She was a good master who diligently taught him a moment ago, but in the next second, she became a demon who killed people like flies. Husher began to worry about Yingying. Husher, I can tell you that whether I poison the water or not, I have full confidence that I can save you. This is the power of a doctor. Let me give you a piece of advice. In the future, you can go against anyone, but don't go against doctors. Yunsheng's eyes were filled with certainty as she replied. Husher was shocked. He did not expect that this woman from the human clan in front of him was a doctor with amazing medical skills. Master, a few days ago, Ying already has the answer to the question you asked Ying. Ying, who was at the side, heard and pulled Yunsheng's sleeve. It turned out that a few days ago, when Yunsheng accepted Ying as her disciple, Yunsheng still called little Ying over and asked her a question out of caution. Ying, Master knows 3 skills, namely medical skills, summoning skills, and magic. Which one do you want to learn the most? Ying was still young, so Yunsheng wanted her to be free to choose and not be restricted to medical skills. At that time, Ying was confused and only said that she would think about it first, because these 3 skills were all very powerful. But today, after Yunsheng and Husher finished talking, Ying suddenly understood. Oh, which one do you want to learn? Yunsheng also wanted to know Ying's final choice. Master, Ying wants to learn medical skills. To Yunsheng's surprise, little Ying did not hesitate at all this time and firmly expressed that she wanted to learn medical skills. Little Ying, have you thought about it clearly? Why did you choose medical skills? Logically speaking, at your age, you should like magic or summoning skills. For children, brilliant magic or summoners who could summon beasts should be more attractive. Master, Ying doesn't want to kill people. In the past, those half-orc sorcerers and orc summoners came to attack the slums and killed many people. Ying wants to be a doctor like you and save many people. There is no one to treat the people in the slums. Ying wants to be a doctor who specializes in treating the people in the slums. The little Ying raised her head. At this moment, her petite body was emitting an aura that made people admire her. Yunsheng looked at Ying and laughed involuntarily. She held Ying up and said solemnly, "Okay, Master promises you that one day you will become the best doctor in the 8 wastelands." Many years later, when Ying grew up to be the best female doctor in the 8 wastelands, she would know how important her choice today was to her and the 8 wastelands. Heli looked at the master and disciple with mixed feelings. He did not expect that it was because of his inquiry today that the medical landscape of the 8 wastelands for the next few thousand years would change so drastically. Chapter 1189. With Husher's help, Yunsheng managed to subdue Huyu without much effort after arriving at Songdu. "Husher, you lowly half-beastman, how dare you plot against me with the lowly humans? Just you wait. The people of the Celestial Fox tribe will not let you off." In the city lord mansion of Songdu, Huyu, who looked like a burly old man, was tied up and cursing at Yunsheng and she. Gradually, his voice became as soft as a mosquito's bite, and his eyes gradually lost their focus. In the end, he completely became a puppet. "Master, you're so powerful." When little Ying first saw Huyu, she was shocked by him. However, as Yunsheng's corpse puppet technique slowly took effect, and Ying saw that Huyu had become a puppet without any consciousness, the fear in her eyes was replaced by excitement. She and Bo surrounded Huyu and touched him here and there, as if he was a big toy. Bo, Ying, you two stop playing. Bo, take Ying to meditate and practice the Jade Marrow technique. Yunsheng had a big headache. Her precious disciple's ability to accept things was far better than she had expected. Especially when she was hanging out with Bo, the two of them caused a lot of trouble along the way. The girl and the goat left reluctantly. Husher, Huyu has been subdued. After he became a puppet, his daily words and actions are no different from ordinary people. You only need to secretly control him like before. Yunsheng's golden puppet eyes were permanent. Unless Yunsheng removed it herself, Huyu would be like this for the rest of his life. "Master Yun, Huyu's problem has been solved, but I just found a letter from Hudu." Husher took out a letter as she spoke. Huyu had just received the letter. Due to the appearance of Yunsheng and Husher, he did not have time to reply. It was an urgent letter. It said that the 3 candidates sent by Songdu to Hudu to participate in the selection of Celestial Fox Saints were assassinated on the way. Hudu, Saintess of Celestial Fox? What's going on here? Yunsheng couldn't help but be more cautious when she heard about the candidate for Saintess Celestial Fox. Hudu is the capital of the Celestial Fox tribe. As for the selection of a Celestial Fox Saintess, It's to elect the new celestial fox tribe saintess. Several years ago, the previous celestial fox saintess, Hu Sheng, mysteriously disappeared. Her whereabouts were still unknown. According to the rules of the celestial fox tribe, a new saintess could only be selected after the previous saintess had been missing or dead for 3 years. This time, the Council of Elders proposed that the selection of the saintess be carried out through the civilian selection. All the celestial fox women in the 8 capitals can participate, Eli answered truthfully. The celestial fox saintess had an extremely honorable status in the celestial fox tribe. Her status was second only to the chief and the Council of Elders. The selection of the saintess had always been very cautious. The 8 capitals of the celestial fox tribe would select the appropriate candidates to go to who do and undergo the assessment. The final candidate would be selected. If a celestial fox woman could be selected as the saintess in one of the capitals, it would be an honor for the entire capital. Songdu was no exception. Hu Yu and Husher had also carefully selected the candidates for this selection. These candidates are all purebred celestial fox. They come from famous families in Songdu. They were strictly guarded on the way to Hudu. I didn't expect them to meet with an accident on the way. Husher looked troubled when she saw the letter. If that's the case, we'll just select another 3, Yun Sheng said disapprovingly. Lord Yun, there's something you don't know. This isn't the first batch of women to be sent to Hudu about half a month ago. 3 people were sent to Hudu last time. They were also assassinated. Eli shook her head. Even if she was just a candidate for the celestial fox saintess, it was still an honor. According to the rules of the celestial fox tribe, the celestial fox saintess had to meet a few conditions. She had to be of celestial fox bloodline, be an unmarried virgin, be between 16 and 25 years old, have a clean background, and be beautiful. When the conditions for the saintess in Songdu were announced, countless women from famous celestial fox families and aristocratic families flocked to Songdu to compete for the position of the celestial fox saintess. At that time, Hu Yu and Husher were also dazzled by the selection before they finally picked out a few suitable candidates. They were originally overjoyed and sent the 3 saintess candidates to who would have thought that not long after they sent them out, they would receive bad news. The 3 saintess candidates, as well as the guards who escorted them to Hudu, were all killed. Not a single one survived. Left with no choice, Songdu could only hold another saintess election. However, the news of the 3 saintesses being strangely killed had already spread. During the second selection, the number of people who came to register for the saintess election decreased by 50%. After all, although it was an honor to be the saintess of Celestial Fox, the women who were born in the Celestial Fox purebred clans were not willing to die for no reason. Lord Yun, including this time, 6 saintess candidates have already died. If it were you, you wouldn't be willing to risk sending your daughter to Hudu, right? Husher was having a headache right now. How should they proceed with the 3rd saintess election? This matter is a little strange. Who is the murderer? What is his purpose? Don't tell me there's no clue at all? Yin Sheng felt that something was wrong when she heard it. There's no clue at all. The murderer comes and goes without a trace. Moreover, he's very ruthless. Every time, he doesn't leave any survivors or clues. I've already ordered people to inquire about it. The saintess candidates sent to Hudu in the other capital cities also met with mishaps. I'm afraid that this time, the murderer is targeting the Celestial Fox tribe's saintess selection. Husher calculated the time. There is only half a month left before the deadline for the selection of saintess candidates. Husher had no choice but to bite the bullet and announce the 3rd saintess election. As he expected, after experiencing 2 bizarre assassinations, the saintess selection of Songdu, which was originally fiercely competitive, suddenly became deserted. 5 days after the announcement, the number of Celestial Fox saintess candidates who came to register was actually a pitiful 10. These people are just barely passable. Eli grumbled at the information of the candidates who had signed up. Among this group of women, the majority of them had mediocre looks and mediocre strength. What was worse was that one of them was actually a cripple. If such a person was sent to Hudu, Even if the Elder Council of Celestial Fox did not get angry, Tsangdu would be ridiculed to death by the other capital cities. However, if he did not choose from these people, where could he go to find another 3 candidates who were willing to participate in the Saintess election in half a month? Husher, are the people you selected all purebred Celestial Fox tribe? Yunsheng looked at the information of the new Saintess candidates and coughed a few times in a low voice. Even as a woman, she felt that these new Saintess candidates were really terrible. No wonder Husher, who was easy to talk to, could not stand it anymore. Chapter 1190. Husher was taken aback by the question. She did not understand why Yunsheng would ask her such a question. Of course, the Saintess of Celestial Fox has a special status. Even a purebred Celestial Fox will be bullied in her city. If, Lord Yun, do you mean that we can find a mixed-blood Celestial Fox to participate in the selection of the Saintess? Husher had an idea and understood Yunsheng's implied meaning. Yes. Take a look at the requirements listed by the Council of Elders of Celestial Fox to participate in the selection. In the requirements, it only states that one must have the bloodline of a Celestial Fox, but it doesn't explicitly state that one must be a purebred Celestial Fox. Yunsheng read very carefully. After the assassination of the Saintess of Celestial Fox twice in a row, the purebred Celestial Fox in Tsangdu naturally did not want their daughters to die. However, if the requirements were relaxed and the mixed-blood Celestial Fox could also participate in the selection of the Saintess this time, the result would be very different. The mixed-blood Celestial Fox was different from the purebred Celestial Fox. Their status was much lower. If they became the Saintess, the mixed-blood Celestial Fox women and their families would be able to make a comeback. For many mixed-blood Celestial Fox families in Tsangdu, it was not without temptation. However, there is no precedent of a mixed-blood Celestial Fox becoming the Saintess in the Celestial Fox tribe. I'm worried that after arriving in whose city, the candidates in Tsangdu will be ostracized because of this. Husher still had some misgivings. The 8 major tribes of the Bakra Orcs were famous for their discrimination against half-orcs. Even if they were half Celestial Fox, they would inevitably be ostracized. As the Saintess, it is her duty to survive in a complicated environment. Moreover, even if she is a purebred Celestial Fox, she may still be discriminated against. Yunsheng could not help thinking of Husheng. Poor Husheng. Just by looking at her, one could tell how much she had been bullied in the Celestial Fox tribe. Those people didn't give her any preferential treatment because of her bloodline. Hirue listened and thought for a while. In the end, he still felt that what Yunsheng said was right. He immediately changed the announcement and announced that in addition to purebred Celestial Fox hybrids could also participate in the Saintess election. After the new announcement was made, there was another uproar in Tsangdu. There were all kinds of reactions. When those Celestial Fox purebred heard this, they naturally scolded, saying that who you and he see were acting recklessly. Even a Celestial Fox mixed blood could participate in the Saintess candidate selection. There were even some purebred Celestial Fox who gathered outside the City Lord's mansion to make trouble. In the end, it was Yu who came forward in person and directly said that he would forcibly recruit the daughter of whoever made trouble as the Saintess candidate. Only then did the matter calm down. As for the Celestial Fox hybrids, their reactions were completely different. For many years, the Celestial Fox hybrids had been in a very awkward position in Tsangdu. This was a rare opportunity for their daughter to make a great leap and become the Celestial Fox Saintess. Although they had long known that their daughter might die because of this, most of the Celestial Fox hybrids in Tsangdu still sent their daughter's information to the City Lord's mansion in an endless stream. In this way, he suffered again. For several days in a row, he had a look at the information of the Celestial Fox hybrids piled up like a mountain. He was simply dazzled by it. Yunsheng also joined in the fun and helped to give him some information. If I may be so bold as to say, Your Excellency, you are also a Celestial Fox hybrid. Moreover, your strength and appearance are not inferior to even the real Saintess. He raised his head from the mountain of information and suddenly said this. In He-See's opinion, none of these Sanus candidates could be compared to Lady Yun. Since the celestial fox hybrids could also participate in the selection, then Yunsheng was also very suitable. She was unmarried, the age was also suitable, and her strength was needless to say. The most important thing was that Yunsheng had a kind of beauty that He-See could not describe. It was 70% pure and 30% seductive. This kind of temperament could not be compared to many purebred celestial fox hybrids. At least, of all the purebred celestial fox hybrids that He-See had seen, none of them could be 1/10 as beautiful as Yunsheng. Haha, He-See, don't think about me. I can't be the saintess of celestial fox. Besides, you're wrong about one thing. I'm already married. In the past few days, Yunsheng had been getting along with He-See. The two of them had a good relationship, and they talked much more casually. Hearing this, He-See was shocked. When he saw Yunsheng dressed as an unmarried woman, he had always thought that she was an unmarried woman. What was more, how could a man be worthy of a woman like Yunsheng? What He-See said also reminded Yunsheng. She had been separated from Yi Baiming for a long time. This kid should have recovered his human form by now. Yunsheng couldn't help but feel a sense of longing. That's really a pity. If I have the chance, I really want to see what kind of person Lord Yun's husband is, He-See said with regret. Yunsheng was the most peculiar woman He-See had ever seen. She was proficient in medical skills, summoning skills, and magic. She was decisive in killing. She could execute orcs who disagreed with her without frowning. But she was also kind. After coming to Tsangdu, she went to all the local medical centers and discussed with the local orc doctors to solve many questions about medical skills. The husband of such a complicated person must also be an outstanding person among people. He-See, although I can't be the candidate for the Sanus candidate, I can do you a favor. This time, I'll escort the Celestial Fox Saintess. I'd like to see who wants to assassinate the Celestial Fox Saintess. Yunsheng would not tell He-See that although she was married, she still met the conditions of the Celestial Fox tribe. She and Yi Baiming had been married for several years, but they had not consummated their marriage. However, Yunsheng did not dare to imagine how sober she would be if she suddenly appeared in front of the elders of the Celestial Fox tribe, who had the same face as the former Celestial Fox Saintess. If that was really the case, there would only be two consequences. Either she replaced Hu Sheng as the Celestial Fox Saintess, or she was directly executed on the spot as an imposter. Please, she was just here to deliver the ashes. However, if she could escort the Saintesses into Hu Sheng's city, it would be just right for her to deliver the ashes to Hu Sheng's family. Lord Yun, do you mean you're leaving Tsangdu? He-See was shocked. He did not expect Yunsheng to leave so soon. You've governed Tsangdu well. Hu Yue's situation is also very stable. There's not much point for me to stay in Tsangdu. After I leave, you can pay more attention to the orcs in the other cities. If possible, pull them into your camp. This will be very beneficial for the future development of the human race and the orcs. Yunsheng had decided that after the candidate for the Celestial Fox Saintess candidate was decided, she would disguise herself and follow the convoy to Hu Sheng. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.